Ulonga tabati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun lọ fi bí pa. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami, and we are back, tribe. We back, family. It's been a few days since we did this live stream thing, but we back in the building, and we got the matriarch. Shout out to Rosalind Bonaparte. The matriarch is here. Yes, indeed, the matriarch is here, and we're here to talk about reversing the conjure and the return to sitting the matriarch on the matriarch's throne. So with that, tribe, I want to definitely give a shout out to all the new subscribers, all the new listeners, all the new members of the community. Shout out to everybody who was on the private community call last week, working on putting one together for either tomorrow or Saturday. Shout out to all the new subscribers to the channel, membership, Patreon, et cetera, et cetera. I appreciate all the love, support, family. Appreciate all the love for Professor Kaba's events we had last week. The comments, everything, man. So those of you who were jumping on the stream and who are in the comments now, man, I appreciate all y'all. DJ Kiko, you know what it is. Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you when we do that call. I know you're going to be there. So shout out to the tribe, man. So with that, without further ado, we give the honorable welcome back to Chief Ifaremi Olosun. How you doing, yeah?
Yes, I'm thankful. I am grateful. I am optimistic. I am elated that the shifts that are taking place. And like you said, people are beginning to see the conjure that took place. And now the primordial mother is returning to her throne. She's always been there. But now a lot of the imposters and a lot of people who try to intercept her position are now being weeded out. So I am actually elated about that. Happy to be here. Happy to be back.
I say. Oh, yeah. Nah, look, I'm here for all of it too, and I'm seeing it. Even like with nature, nature is definitely doing what nature do, and it's powerful. And I see like all the alignments. I see the transformations. I see all the different downloads. It's so much that's happening, and it's happening fast, like very fast. So it's like in order to give it a perspective of balance, I'm grateful for, your perspective, because the tribe been going ham, in the comments and the feedback from the first time we did it. And so, I want to definitely, make it happen, again and often, because balance is the key to everything, so, the Orimala doesn't speak to the Babalawo without, the balance of the Odu, you know what I mean? So it's like, we can't have that total balance without having that feminine presence. So it's definitely been an abundance here in these Ashe streets, and we're grateful for it. And we're here now. We want more of it. So yeah, I'm happy for it too.
Ashe. Thank you for creating again and holding this space. A lot of the brothers and I guess is referred to as the woke or conscious community, or should I say brothers who are still connected and tapped in and who has done the work. Y'all are really putting in the work out there. So many of you are opening the way as the masculine energy, spiritual warriors that you are, because that is a place of masculine. It's to hold it down for the feminine and open the way so that the woman can take her place. So kudos to all of you brothers out there who are putting in the work on your channels, sharing the information, and also fighting the unseen battles, behind the scenes, because there's a lot that goes into it that I'm sure that people don't see.
Oh yeah. No, that's real. And real quick, before I get too deep into thought, man, I want to also, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do me a little quick Omi Tutu. I'm serious, because today is the anniversary. Shout out to all of those warriors. Talking about warriors, the warrior, masculine and feminine of the Haitian Revolution. So if there's anybody in the tribe that's of Haitian descent, I salute. Shout out to y'all. With today being the anniversary of the kickoff of the Haitian Revolution in 1804. I was working on putting together a dope video for y'all tribe about that. So I wanted to have it released today. It didn't work out because of off-air engagements that I had, that took a lot of time this week, that I'm happy to engage in as well. But also, it just didn't work out in divine time. But it'll be up this week. I'm working on that to really share a lot of the history and the historical successes of what took place in 1804 on the island of Haiti. So shout out to all of those who are descendants of the warriors who had that effective and successful revolution, and I definitely prayed for them yesterday during some very powerful ceremonies and offerings and rituals to the gods, man. So and they made their presence known in full effect. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what becomes from some of these things that we have off here in regards to the work. So with that, and I appreciate it, and that's what we're here for. We're here to do the work. Mm-hmm. You hear me?
I'm happy, man.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, can you hear me now?
And I'm going to say again, it's just really to the current that's taking place right now. We are still and have been for some time in the midst of spiritual warfare. And we already know how they get down in Haiti as the warriors who, they instill so much fear in the colonizers after they spank their butts upon many occasions. So yes, we pay homage.
Ashe. Yeah. So with that, now I'm ready to jump in. We paid honor to the tribe, we paid honor to the supporters, we paid honor to the feminine energy, we paid honor to the mothers, and we paid honor to the ancestors, especially the warrior ancestors. So with that, now I think we got the road clear for us to go ahead and start talking about the reversing of this conjure. So when we talk about the reversal of the conjure, because that's a very powerful title. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge your vision and your feminine energy for putting that together. So it's a 2-part title to me because there's 2 major components to it. One being reversing the conjure, that's an episode within itself. But the other part, we're going to talk about returning to the throne. So I definitely would like to start with the reversing of the conjure, because the conjure is something that I don't know how many people know how far and how deep that goes. I'm sure there's lots of people that do, but I'm sure there's lots that don't. So can you kind of break down what exactly even is this conjure that we have to reverse?
Well, that's it. Real, like you said, it goes really deep. To try to summarize it, we as the organic and original people of the planet, along with the original governing forces of the planet that brought balance and harmony, tying it all together, all of these things enabled us to have a direct connection with our higher self. So when other forces, entities, and beings became, and I'm going to try to put this in terms that everybody can understand. When other forces, entities, and beings came to this planet and became trapped on the planet, some of these forces have no life force energy. Some of these forces solely rely on our energy and our life force energy. Again, us having the divine connection to the celestial realms and to our higher self and to the same toroidal flow frequency energy that radiates all throughout the earth, all throughout the planet, and all living organic things. So in order to survive, them and their offspring had to find a way to usurp our energy. One of my sisters introduced me to the term loosh, to steal our loosh, if you will. And these same forces are the hidden hand. They are what many refer to as the hidden hand behind a lot of the systems that attempt to keep us oppressed, suppressed, and confused in a dense 2D, 3D, low vibrational state. So us being in that state, it causes a sense, it causes illusion and confusion, impeding our ability to see clearly and to, again, maintain that connection that we have to the celestial realm and to the earth. So they learn how to, first they studied. Those who already didn't know because they had access to this higher intelligence of knowledge, um, studied. And those who came from other realms know, a lot of the things that people who think that they are in power today um, had to be taught. And I'm trying my best to put this in a very broad, basic explanation, but it's really deep. So in terms of political systems, judicial systems, the economic, the money, the so-called, tangible wealth, dollars, banking systems, educational systems, medical systems, every system that has been put in place has been strategically done so in a way that is geared towards suppression and to be able to steal our life force energy. I was just sharing, and I always say that many people think that this battle, the spiritual warfare that we talked about before, there was a time on the earth where there was balance. That is when the primordial mother reigned. That is when I talked about in the last video, Garden of Eden, returning to the Garden of Eden, returning to balance, peace, and harmony that existed. But from the time that other beings, forces, entities, and energies began to try to usurp that and interfere with that, there's been an ongoing, continuous spiritual warfare. And I say that particularly because I want people to know it is possible for us to return to balance, peace, and harmony and the Garden of Eden. And in fact, that is what we are returning to as we speak. But in doing so, a lot of energies, entities, and beings that feed off of our energy will cease to exist. So a lot of people think it's been about power in a political or economic sense. A lot of people think that this spiritual warfare is about money. Well, money is something that they made up. Money is something that is inorganic to our existence. Control and power. Well, these beings, entities know that they really don't have any control or power because energy is. Energy was from the beginning, it is, and it shall continue to be. No man, no one, no system, nothing can control the source, most high life force energy, all encompassing, all being. So what do you do when you can't control energy? And we know that money isn't really real in the way that they have created it to be. So if it's not about money, because they created money in a way to oppress and control, and again, usurp, and if we know that it's not about power or being able to control a thing, because they can't control the forces, no one can control that which they don't have the power to create and they didn't create. So what is all of this really about? It's really about our energy. It's all about the ability to be able to manipulate energy. That is what we do as spiritualists. We don't manipulate energy as spiritualists, especially when it's done with pure good intentions and in sync with nature and in harmony with nature. As spiritualists, what we do is we work in unison with nature to bring about a good outcome and to rebalance and to restore balance and order. But again, there are other forces, entities, beings, and now even individuals that want to use energy and learn how to use energy for unfavorable reasons, to destroy, to conquer, to siphon, and to usurp. So that is the conjure that I'm talking about. That conjure, again, exists. Rephrase that. That conjure is ceasing to exist and phasing out of the place that it once held throughout all of the systems that I just named. it's really important for us to understand how it came into place, how it exists, and why it exists, so that we understand we have the power within ourselves to not allow it to affect us, to reverse it. So that is the Conjure, and the short version of what the Conjure is. Some people have already gotten to the point. That's why I'm not going to go into deep, into depth on this topic. Some people who have already done the research, do the research of how spell work is infused into the dollar bill, into every dollar that you spend. Do the research of how the so-called capital of the United States is specifically arranged, how they've placed certain things on energy grids and energy centers. Do the research of what a church really is. Do the research of how churches were set up to harvest energy to the false god. Do the research of the things that they have on top of churches. The sometimes it's just a cross, yes, but if you look closely at really old churches, you'll see metal symbols and implements on the top, very top. That's what it's doing, is trying to pull the energy in and harvesting the energy of all of the so-called worshipers, who are really giving their energy to false, I'm just going to use the term false gods. Some people like to refer to them as fallen angels, or just lower vibrational entities and dead entities, true walking dead entities that have no life force, that wants to siphon and reduce us and steal our life force energy. So that's why I say it is really deep. I just want, if you want to really dig more into the conjure, research those different things, the spell work, again, how they have used water, or tried to use water to recreate the baking system, and how the baking system is really was really formed out by the pirates and all of that stuff, who try to steal the wealth from Orisha Ajay and Olosun, which is water, and created the whole maritime system, and blah, it goes on, and the rabbit hole goes deep. It just depends on how deep you want to go with it. So even from the very way that our houses is set up, if we look at our neighborhoods, it's everything. I think I said this in the last video. Everything is boxes. The screen we're looking at right now is a box. Our houses is boxes. The structure of roadways and streets and everything is boxes.
Let me ask you this, yeah. I don't want to interrupt, because you in the zone, but I could not help, and oh man, it took me minutes to like just say, okay, just ask. But I could not help but think about the movie Get Out, when you was talking about the siphoning of energy. Like, as soon as you started talking about that and about the symbols on top of the church and how they're using that to try to pull the energy down into like that's, my mind just went straight to the movie Get Out. Like, especially when after he went to the dinner and he sat down and the mother did whatever she did with the little coffee cup, and she started doing the little, and he just started falling into that sunken place. Like, to me, when you were describing that, my mind immediately flipped to like seeing that scene in that movie about being in the sunken place. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's what it sounds like you telling me that so that's what they've been doing to us. They've been putting us in the sunken place.
We have to ask ourselves, why would these people go through so much, I don't even know, I will say trouble, because they've been causing trouble. Why would these entities, beings, extraterrestrial beings, walking dead, and descendants of those same beings, to go through so much to try to suppress a certain type of person, a certain group of people? Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about it, and what it is really is about survival. This is not, I always say, a lot of people are thinking checkers when these people, yes, there we go. Yeah, you go. And the ISIS papers is deeper than what we think. It's not about money. It ain't about power. We always say money, power, respect is the key to life. I know the song and all of that, but it's deeper than that. It's about survival. And they know and if we look around, we can see the level of desperation that these beings, entities have reached, that they are running out of time. They have ran out of time. They can no longer exist on the great primordial mother's planet. So that's why they are trying everything they can do. They are pulling out all the stops, all the tricks, and I'm going to use this term chaos specifically. The chaos that we are witnessing and seeing is chaos is a feminine energy, but it could be used to create. It could be used to birth. It could be used to destroy for the purpose of starting anew. But when one knows how to manipulate energy in a different type of way, chaos can always also be used to cause smoke and mirrors and confusion. So that's why when we look around, we see them building heart weather machines, trying to mimic the primordial mother, trying to create, problems here and storms and poison in the food, and coming up with different chemicals and putting altrazine and different things to try to make our men feminine. You name it, from all the different diseases they have created through the years, from the whole pandemic that took place to people who were coerced and fear-mongered into getting the vaccine. I could go on and on and on and on and on with why would they go so far to sit in their time like Pinky in the Brain, just sitting in the lab. Well, what can we do today to try to take over the world? Well, it's not about their fake money. It's not about power that they can never have, or energy that they don't control because they could never control it. It is about survival. At this point, these entities, beings, they are desperate. You can see the desperation when we look around at what's happening today. There's things that I'm 41 cycles in this life. There's things that has occurred that I've never heard of in the past 5 years. Now, while these beings are desperate to continue to siphon and usurp our energy, there are also galactic forces, light celestial beings that we are, along with other ones that are existing in other realms that are supporting us to fight this spiritual warfare as well. That's why you also see in the past, I'll say 2 years or so, a lot of things that were hidden can no longer be hidden. They must put it out on the public domain. Also with the work that the benevolent forces are doing. And even us as individuals, don't ever think of yourself as insignificant because you're one person out of a billion. I shared in the last episode, each one of us that takes our rightful position in the grand symphony and play our tune, we come together to be a powerful force. And that is us that is shifting the resonance frequency, I believe it's called the Schumann frequency we've been seeing. That's us. So the more we continue to walk in the light, be in the light, uncover who we are, own who we truly are, which is what they don't want, which is causing the smoke and mirrors and the delusion and the confusion. The more we do that, we are shifting the frequency of the planet and restoring balance and harmony. And we can see that from people in the music industry being exposed to a lot of people who we see, watch my words because I say things in a particular way. A lot of people who we see that are transitioning, that have already been transitioned. I say it what I said. A lot of people that we see that we can now really see that something is not right about them. They don't look the same. Why they don't look the same? Because, we're seeing how certain people have been replaced. And what this is really boiling down to is a circus, a freak show that they're trying to keep playing out out of desperation because they need us to participate.
Facts.
Without our energy and our participation, they ceased. They have ceased and will cease to exist.
Facts.
So this is the Conjure. This is what it's all been about. It's never been about racism. It's never been about black versus white. It's never been about classism. It's never been about any of the things that we believe. You know, it's really been about energy harvesting and survival. And so now it's our turn, it's our duty, it's our capability as the 888 portal that just passed, that we just experienced, along with so many other energetic shifts that have taken place. We are in a very pivotal time right now because we have the opportunity, if we choose to open our eyes, to see clearly, and to take our rightful place. And we are doing that. So that's the short version of the Conjure that we have been experiencing, putting people to sleep, suppressing certain parts of the brain, of the neurons of the brain, certain receptors, through the food we consume. You know, and we have some doctors don't let color fool you either, because there are some pale face or so-called white, or whatever people like to refer to them as, doctors that have come out and provided research. You can Google it, research it, look it up, about the different things that the food is doing to us, that the water is doing to us, such as sugar, the sucrose, the sucrose and all the croses and all the different types of sugars.
Too close. You're too close.
Get all of them. But it has the same effects as cocaine, as a drug, you know.
I've heard in some studies that sugar can even be considered maybe just as, if not more, addicted than cocaine. I've heard studies about that. That's crazy that you say that, but that's real.
And they make sure they pump it into everything we eat. And I've traveled many places, like I shared in the previous live, and I got to experience different cultures. There's not another country that I've been to that consumes so much sugar-based, poisonous, chemical-based junk food. Why is that? And
a lot of the food here is illegal, and even in certain states here it's illegal, but in other countries a lot of this foolishness is illegal. Yeah.
They won't even allow their public to eat it, to consume it. And so the Food and Drug Administration and different entities and forces here, I don't want to say too much on your channel, but wow, we have to ask out what helped me early on in my journey of remembering, because forgetting is also a part of the sacred process of us coming into these physical bodies of matter. But a part of my remembering process is that I would always ask why. And then when I got to one why, I would go to another why. Well, why? Well, I did that from the time I was a little girl. I would do it so much that I would get on everybody. And my family watching this, they know I ain't lying. I would get on everybody and my family's nerves, because I would be asking why. You have to go down that rabbit hole and ask yourself why. You know, it's not even racism. I shared in the last video again, but I just got to touch on it because it's going to tie all in together. Even racism, they created it because they understood that if they highlight our differences, we'll begin to see something wrong with being different and unique, and that's a way that they can suppress our power. So there's nothing wrong with being different and unique. But when they can make us all feel the need to be the same, well, then we become sheep, you know? So these same entities, beings, systems, created these things to cause conflict. Again, where there's confusion, where there is illusion, then they can now put in the thing that they want you to think and believe. But racism, in truth, there's nothing wrong with, you know, again, our differences. When we learn to embrace the truth of who we are, which I talked about in the last live, once we learn to be okay with being born here, you know, we were born on this land. Once we learn to accept that our most recent seven or eight generations came from this land that we can verifiably trace and check. Once we learn to embrace all of who we are, then we can tap into all of our power. That's why another thing I spoke on, I'm gonna touch on really quickly on the last video, was everybody adopting another person's way or culture, or thinking that everyone must go back to Africa. So, and then I'm not going to go too much in trying to explain myself. I'm a loving person. I love everybody. I love the whole planet. I am of the whole planet. But what that is doing is putting a person in a box. And that's another way that they dominate and control. So, and it's a way that they oppress. I just want to share this one little piece on it as well with the Conjure. A lot of people, through all of the things that I've previously explained, through the food, through the entertainment, through pop culture, through politics, through vaccinations, through what that song used to say, eggs, greens, potatoes, you name it, through all the different things, you name it.
Yeah, I remember that song.
It caused, they all the children was running around saying it.
I remember that song.
It really caused people to become docile as well. And it caused people to just accept and surrender to the truth, to the system, to the way of life that they have. Another thing is our ancestors, we have been fighting for so long that in truth, also, people are tired. People are tired. That's why we have to learn how to tap back into our power, to connect to nature, to pull from the energy of the cosmos. We have to learn energy work. We have to learn, working with crystals. We have to learn to commune and be one with the earth. That's why they do everything. Another thing to separate us from our connection with the mother, with earth. There's a book. I don't want to pause to go digging for it, but it's called Nature and Human Development. And it is a scholar. If I try to pull it up, it's going to take some time. Let me try to talk and pull it up at the same time. But there's a scholar that goes into depth. He is a clinician, a doctor of counseling and psychiatry, and he talks about how it is imperative for proper human development for children from birth to be living in nature and connected to nature, because nature has directly informs who we are and guides and direct our development. And so that disconnect from nature, what it's really doing is stunting our growth as just as plain as far as development as people. So he goes into explain how the average person is really stuck in an adolescent phase. Yes. So what we look out into the world, what we see is a lot of people who are still presenting in their disposition and their mentality on the level of adolescence. And so what is adolescence driven by? Adolescence is the phase where we are still trying to come into who we are, our self-identity. It's puberty. It's a lot of sexual exploration. So that is why you see a lot of adults who are very evil, as the reason I said that word, ready to get into it, are very easily to be controlled by sex. which is another tool that is always used, sex and lust. Because again, these people study human action and behavior in order to be able to siphon and control.
Yep.
And they are really very well aware that that is the age mentally that many people are presenting themselves in and are stuck in due to their inability to live in harmony with nature. Nature delivers signs, messages, symbols to us. They when we are in nature, we learn how to go within for what we need, how to connect to the very thing that gives us life. So go ahead, brother. I'm going to try to, I really want to pull that book up.
Yeah.
So why you?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll jump in and, you could tag me into the ring, man. I'll jump in and throw some bows and leg drops and off the top rope, Jimmy Superfly Snooker, bang, body splashes on these ninjas. But yeah, for real, look, this is fun to me. And shout out to Baba Tolu. I had a good conversation with him earlier, man. And we was just talking about, a lot. But one of the things that he shared, which was dope, but it's so simple. It's just like, like just be a good person, man. Like just don't be going out there just doing like I forgot how he said it, but we were talking about Iwa Pele. And he was like, yeah, Iwa Pele is good. Balanced character is great and all that. But I can't remember the daggone, it slipped my mind. But I was like, bro, I'm going to use that on the call tonight, bye. I forgot the damn quote. I told him I'm going to steal it, but I let everybody know I borrowed it from him. But it'll come back to me. But anywho, but it reminds me of the Wu-Tang Clan. That song, can it be that it was all so simple? You know what I'm saying? Because it really is simple. But it's about doing the simple things and being consistent and diligent with doing them, which is just be a good damn human being. Like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. But when you were speaking about like all the different elements and all the different contributing factors into like what we're dealing with when we're talking about this conjure and this, this construct with this system for this corporation and all those things, I couldn't help but to think about, and Iba to to him as well, the new ancestor, the Honorable Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. And in his book, which I share on the channel a lot too, the counter code of racism, a compensatory counter racist code. He speaks about that, and it's crazy because you spoke about damn near all 9 of the principles. Ooh, excuse me.
I found the book.
Oh, you found it? Okay, gotcha.
It's called Nature and the Human's Soul. And it's by Plotkin. You can look up Plotkin 2008.
How you spell that?
Plotkin.
Plotkin?
Yes.
Oh, just like it sounds. Okay. And then the title? What was the title again?
Nature and the Human Soul.
Nature and the Human Soul. Cool. Appreciate you. Nature and the Human Soul. Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out. And then real quick too, before I jump back off, those 9 principles that are the whole pretty much outline of this book is economics, education, entertainment are the first 3, labor, law, and politics are the second 3, religion, sex, war, and counter war are the third 3. So it's like those 9 elements or 9 principles. He wrote a whole entire, really, this is a university within itself, one book about this system. You know what I'm saying? Like broke it all the way down. And if I'm not mistaken, he was you about to know to her. He was Dr. Francis Cress Westling's mentor, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And so he broke it all down, and you just broke it all down verbatim, freestyling like off the top of the dome. But that's real. And I'm gonna jump back up and let you continue with class, yeah.
I really urge people to, read that book, delve into it. He goes into the significance of rites of passage as well. I'm not going to go too far into it, but it's really going to summarize what I'm saying about people being stuck in the adolescent stage. So these are all systems that have been set up to work against us. This is the conjure that we're talking about. We have to, the term that people use all the time is begin to unplug and know how to, once we can see it coming, once we can see what's happening, we know how to reverse, the conjure. I shared with you as well on the last video, I touched on Moana 1 and Moana 2. I'm talking about the children's movie. Now, some people will say, why are we talking about children's movie? Well, that's because they must always put, when I'm talking to people, always say, who is the they? They are the entities, beings, and those who have been assigned to keep this conjure going. They must always put information in the public domain. And we have to learn how to decode and read the signs and the symbols of what they're trying to share amongst themselves within their system, within their cults and groups. Disney, in fact, often hides a lot of important information and signs and symbols in their movies. Me being a mother, sometimes it's not even my intention to pick up on these things. But, I might, just like I did with this Moana movie, I was just watching and I was like, OMG, they putting it all out there. And then I'll start getting transmissions. Another thing I want to share, some of the information that I talk about is not, it may not be in a book. So I am still in communication with my higher self and the celestial realm from which I came. That line of frequency, that line of communication is still there. And it's as it is with all of us, we can always tap in. So a lot of times I'll just get transmissions of information and I have memories of information that I may speak on, but I guarantee you, if you look it up, Google it, research it, you're going to find that what I'm saying is true. So they will put certain information in codes and movies and music and songs throughout different things. And we have to be able to figure out what that means. And we can do so when we tap in and when we sit down and become one with higher self. The first thing that I noticed, first we're going to begin to feel it in our body. That's how we have to learn to be present in our body and mind and body. So sometimes we're going to feel certain things in our body. And then the signs, code, symbols, and messages. I could feel a tide shifting. It began really during the Alabama brawl. Let me take it back to the Alabama brawl. And the way that it was televised and what I saw, when you have to see beyond sight, learn to see with your spiritual eye. And I said, this is quite interesting. And what did we see was that brother swimming across the water like a all-out Olympian to help his other brother who they were trying to beat down on the water side, right? So a lot of things have been showing us, pulling us to the water. Even taking it back further, I saw, if you're in the Orisha community, we saw a lot of a lot of sisters, a lot of veneration of Oshun. Everybody all of a sudden want to be Omo Oshun. Beyonce is Oshun, everybody Omo Oshun. It was all about Oshun, honey. Oshun been a star of the show for a while now. So some people was getting disgruntled about it, but me, I sat back and I observed. I said, let Oshun shine. Even if there's some fake people, they know they ain't Omo Oshun. Let them say they are, because this is something that's happening with the water. So then the Alabama brawl, brother swimming across the water to save his other brother. And they came together in unity and community to, I don't want to say it the way that it happened, to beat them down. And like, you ain't about to do that with us over here. And they had victory. And I hadn't seen something like that in a long time. Then the Avatar movie came out. It went from showing us the connection that we have with Gaia. Some people refer to Tiamat, Gaia, whatever term resonates with you. From the trees and our ability to tap into the knowledge and wisdom of the tree and plant life and the earth and the planet itself. Then from there, it went to Avatar, the way of water. Okay, so you got to follow, read the codes, follow the breadcrumbs. So Avatar, the way of water, pointed us to look at the waterways. Okay, so then I noticed, Moana 1, comes out. And this is what I said I wanted to talk on the last video. Moana 1 comes out, and Moana is a young girl who lives where? On an island. And it's primarily centered around water, and how the water is even a spirit, and how the water lifts her and carries her and wouldn't allow her to drown. And it also tied in the ancestral connection. The same ancestral connection that if you're in the Ifa community, that during the Yoruba New Year, the old dude that came out talked about more Orisha than I've seen in a long time. But the Egungun really kicked off, the ancestors kicked off the year this year. So ancestors and water, right? Our ancestors hold through the blood, the genetic memory and coding. And the water is truly where the ancestors' spirits come from. So a lot of people look to the land and the burial sites. But if we look at IET tradition, voodoo, the Zulu, look up the tribes that venerate ancestors through water. Even if we go into Egbe, who the Egbe are, all Egbe, which are the celestial spirit energies that come with us from the realm of the invisible, all come out of water. Anyone, no matter what type of Egbe you have, you can connect to them through water. So when we look up in the sky, we think, okay, it's clouds. But above us is water. The clouds is water, and beyond the clouds is more water and is water. The heavens we speak of is water. Okay? So all life, spirit is water. You can also read, is a good book by Mali Doma. I believe it's called of Spirit and of Water.
Spirit and Water. Yeah, I got that book. I
Yes.
just got it too. I got it on Audible. I got the audio version. I just got that not too long ago too. Powerful book.
Water. Because when we get into metaphysics and alchemy, we understand the connection between spirit and water. So if we want to connect to our ancestors, in truth, it's really through the heavens and the stars, which reside in the water, and the ocean that also has layers of life through the ocean. Okay, bringing it back to Moana. Her grandmother in the movie, her grandmother became an ancestor who she could connect to through the water. Her grandmother turned into, I believe, is somebody in the comments help me out the name of the animal. I believe it was an electric eel. No, not electric eel. Somebody put it in the comments. But her grandmother turned into a form of sea life, that whenever she saw it, it was a symbol that was her grandmother. Then she would form into a full apparition of her spirit self. That is what Moana 1 was showing us. It was showing us the connection to the land, our connection to water. It showed us how we can connect to our ancestors through water. It showed us the importance of returning to our tribal way of being. Just really sit down and watch Moana 1. There's so many symbols in that movie. Now, I want to bring us into or merge into Moana 2. So Moana 1 was really centered on, and also Moana discovering her power within through navigating the waters. That was Moana 1. She worked with a demigod named Maui, who initially didn't want to work with her. You know, Maui was full representing the ego. Maui was full of ego. He was a demigod. He had some god powers and didn't care to work with Moana. But ultimately, he didn't have much, it came to the conclusion he didn't have much choice. He ended up working with Moana. And Moana, going into Moana 2, later realized and becomes a demigod herself. So let me stay focused. Moana 2. Now, Moana 2 is so powerful. I need everybody to watch this movie because it's telling us how to reverse the Conjure. Moana 2 now, it begins where she is, when the movie first starts, she's on her land with her family. She has earned the honor and respect of her family from what she did the first time. And the first movie, a very important piece, you saw a creature who was enraged. I think it was Tafiti is the name. Moana Tafiti. So you saw a creature who seemed of like feminine energy. And I need y'all to also reference the first live I did because it's going to all make sense. But I got to get this out. Yes, Tafiti. So Tafiti represents life and creation. Tafiti represented life and creation in the Moana 1. So Tafiti, Moana had to go because of Tafiti was so filled with anger. It was so imbalanced, so filled with rage, so filled with, I'm going to use unbalanced, toxic feminine energy, that it was causing nothing to thrive and grow on Moana's island. So she had to face the seas with the demigod to restore the heart of Tafiti. After she achieved her mission, she restores the heart. The heart is talking about love and is representing the true essence of divine feminine energy, the primordial mother, as she was before she was manipulated. Bear with me. As she was manipulated, and we're talking about energy. When we say she, everything is energy. Nothing is literal. So follow me in the sense, in the context of energy. When the divine feminine energy was manipulated, I'm talking about the primordial mother, divine feminine energy of the planet, through the women who are manifestations of the divine feminine energy of the planet, was manipulated, or the energy was maneuvered specifically to make the divine feminine be filled with toxic, unfavorable feminine energy, to become hard, to become angry, to become resentful, to become masculine, to become tough. This is what Tafiti represented in that movie. We look around, what do we see because of the systems they've put in place? Women who have to wear two hats, two roles, two positions. They became angry. Women who are resentful. Women who say, I don't need a man. Women who think they can do it all on their own. Women who choose to do things the hard way because they see it as a badge of honor. Women who are walking around with hurt and disappointment from men who they don't realize that the men were coerced and also a part of the manipulation plan to disappoint them in the first place. We see women who are not in touch with their heart chakra. Women who are not balanced and centered in their feminine energy. This is not by mistake. Women who were over-sexualized. Women who we see half naked with no dignity, no integrity, no honor, no respect, totally reduced and degraded. Why are they doing this? It's manipulating the divine balance, love, heart chakra, and harmony of divine feminine energy. Just like in that movie, the first one, Moana 1, when Tafiti was filled with rage. She was spewing out fire. She turned into a volcano, right? So Moana had to restore her heart. Now, once Moana restored the heart of Tafiti, what did Tafiti become? She became, I want y'all to go back and watch this now. She became beautiful.
We might need to have a watch party for this, yeah.
We might have to do it.
I think that'd be a dope watch party, and then we do a Q&A after, man. I think that'd be dope. I don't mean to interrupt, but just because the way you breaking it down, I'm like, yo, we might need to watch this. We need to watch part.
And how the church folks used to say, walk with me now, walk with me now. Follow me now. I'm
Yes,
gonna walk it somewhere. All right. So they put the heart into Fidi. She turned into a beautiful goddess of greenery. You can even Google it while I'm talking. To Fidi or Moana goddess. She became one. She laid down. She laid down. Okay? She laid down and became back one with the earth. And she was beautiful. She smiled. And when she laid down and became part of the hill, such as the giants that we can sometimes see in the mountains today, if we look closely, she, as a giant, laid and merged and blended into the earth and the greenery of the earth. And she smiled and she glowed and she was beautiful. When she laid down, life began to reemerge. The flowers began to bloom. The grass began to rise. And Moana returned home and everybody began to celebrate because life, balance had been restored, because Te Fiti now returned to her original state, which is the original Sophionic primordial mother state of being, is wisdom, peace, love, balance, and harmony. That's where we flourish. That's where we grow. That's our organic, true state of being. And when the mother returns to her throne, that's how we are going to live and how we're beginning to live again now. So, but that wasn't all. Moana 2. Now, that was how Moana 1 ended. Now we go back. Moana had to come back because Moana had more work to do. Moana now encounters, let me take it back, rewind. In the beginning, it starts with Moana and Moana 2. She is undergoing, they have this little cartoon character, Moana, going through a whole ancestral ceremony in the movie. They call the whole village and sits Moana down, her mother and father, who are the chiefs of the village. They give her a calabash filled with water, amongst some other things. And they invoke who? The ancestors, because you got to go through them veins. The genetic memory coding that's in within. They invoke her ancestors and they show her the next journey she must embark upon. So, without fear, without doubt, and none of the movies watch Moana's courage. She doesn't second guess. She doesn't question. She doesn't doubt. Without fear. This is also the heart, which is Ogun. When it's time to go to war, because we are in a spiritual warfare. Don't forget. But now it's ending because these beings, these entities and forces are leaving the planet expeditiously as we speak. And the primordial mother has returned to her throne. But without fear, Moana got what she needed to do from the ancestors. And she had to build a ship because we got to go through the waters. That's how they built this whole system, through the waters, maritime, the banking systems. They know the power of water. Water can be used in a multitude of ways to alchemize and change a thing. So, long story short, go watch the movie. I'm going to summarize it for the sake of time because I want to get to the main point. She embarks, she builds a ship, she gathers her 4-member crew, and she has to go on another journey now because there is a divide. Think about Pangea. There was a divide, an unnatural divide that took place with the people on the land, of the lands. There was an entity called Nilo or Nilo. Walk with me now. The entity called Nilo, and they will use words. It's still the same frequency. It's still the same name. So if you know about the Anunnaki, we have Enki and then we have Enlil. We know what Enki did and we know what Enlil did. The entity called Nilo, Enlil, Nilo, is the trick of the tongue. Nilo didn't even reveal himself to the very end of the movie. Beyond Moana didn't know what she was going up against. She just knew that she said there's more out there for us. We have to connect to our other tribes. We have to connect to the other tribes. We have to connect to the other parts of the land if we are going to survive. We must come together and community and tribe up. We must tribe up together. So that's what she did. She said, I know there are other tribes. There's evidence that other tribes out there exist. This is also going into the illusion that America, this country, that the planets that the continents that they've shown us is all that exists. This is also going into other beings, extraterrestrial lands beyond the wall. It's the way that the ice wall or the ice cliff or whatever is set up, where it's like it reaches a certain level and then it flattens out, plateaus out. Beyond that, there's other life forms.
When you say wall, yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but when you say wall, are you talking about like the ice walls of like Antarctica or like, you know what I mean, at the poles of the planet? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's life beyond there. And so that's what's being shown in Moana too, in a multitude of ways. We see extraterrestrial beings, different levels of life under the water as she dives deep into the water, but let me not get ahead of myself. So she says there's more out there than what they're showing us. We must find it. She gathers her ship. She goes through the waters with her little team of 2 or 3, I think she had about 3 or 4 people with her. And they reach a point, they're following a star to reach the point that they need to, the land that they need to go to, where they're going to be able to break the spell that was placed on the planet, the Conjure. Okay, back to the title of the show, the Conjure, where she must reach this particular point on the land to break the Conjure. She's following the star. They reach the land, but they felt as if they had hit a roadblock, but they hadn't. Somehow they fell deep into the water, parts of the water that they didn't know existed. When they went through the water, they saw other extraterrestrial beings, blobs and different entities and beings under the water. There's life down through the water that we don't know about too. She ran into a woman or a female, and let me pull up that name. She ran into a female who represented the Ifaremi. She was a witch-like woman who Moana met. And she was also trapped by Nilo, Enlil, this dark feminine energy entity that was trapped underwater by an Enlil, Nilo. And so Moana had reached this dead end where she met the Ifaremi-like figure witch woman in the movie. And the witch woman wants to help Moana because she wants to free herself too from the spell from being used. Walk with me now, from being used by Nilo, because we're talking about magic, conjure power, and it's only the Ifaremi who possesses that energy, who can tap into the untapped magic, dark feminine energy power source. So she meets this woman, and Moana said, I don't know how to reach. I thought I reached the land. So the woman says, you must look deeper. Go follow a path that you were unwilling to follow before. It's a whole song. Watch the movie. It's a whole song where she encourages Moana. You have not hit a dead end. There's something that you have not seen. There's a way that you have not seen. Follow the way. Follow the way. There's another way. So she encourages Moana. They're underwater now. They are breathing, walking, talking, and moving under the ocean. She says, Moana, go this way. Moana, speed it on up. Moana follows this path deeper, deep down into the ocean till they reach the bottom floor, as it seems, of the ocean. And Moana now has to dive down through the ocean, the bottom pit of where the ocean stops, and grab something to undo the spell that Nilo put in place. Moana, in essence, loses her life doing this because she could not breathe at that time under the depth and withstand the depth of water that she was in. But while she did it, she broke the spell. All of the ancestors made a space, a bubble around her under the water where she could breathe, and they brought her back to life as a god. Okay? Moana came back to life as a god from breaking the spell. And she went through the water. So then now this is the end of it. Then I'm going to get off this and say what I'm going to get to the point of it all. She breaks the spell. Now, once she breaks the spell, she rises up as this god now, along with Maui from the first Moana. They return home. They get to witness all the lands, all the tribes. It brought tears to my eyes. All the tribes from different lands now recognize each other, see each other. They come back together, and they're able to form and gather resources and to rely and depend on each other now. So from afar, in the deep depths of darkness, Enlil, Nilo is watching. He saw what went down. The witch woman who he was siphoning her energy and had her under his grasp, so he thought, the Ifaremi, he called her into the meeting. This is how the Moana 2 ends. And he says, who helped Moana break the spell? No human being could have done that. So the witch woman said, it wasn't me. And so he said, I know it was you. And so Nilo in Moana is a black, big giant, so-called black or brown-skinned male who looks like us, but he's huge. And he looks like he could be one of the Anunnaki. And he says, oh, someone has broken the spell. This is not over. You know, they think that they will win. They think that they can undo what I've done. So it's basically telling the story of how the lands was divided, how we were divided, how the divine feminine energy was from the beginning, things put in place to attack the woman. The attack has always been on the woman because we are living, walking, breathing embodiments of the primordial mother as women. So each one of us, this is greater than sexuality. This is greater than LGBTQ. This is greater than, this is what our message I have to share. Some people say, well, I identify as all of that identify stuff. Everything has been an attack on the divine feminine. And if we want to reverse the conjure, we have to do the opposite of what they've done. Do away with our sexual lusts. Do away with the ego. Those are demons. Those are demonic spirit entities, frequencies that have been created and assigned and put to work to keep us in a confusion and illusion so they can continue to try to exist and harvest and siphon our energy and to suppress and hold back the primordial mother that's going to restore the heart of Tafiti, that's going to bring balance and order, harmony and structure, the Garden of Eden, back to the original way that we're supposed to be. That's what's impeding our ability to come together as tribes in unity and harmony, from embracing our differences, no matter what part of the land we're located on. We don't have to steal another person's identity or culture. That's another way they are using us and keeping us docile from connecting to our true identity power. So instead of us saying, I'm not going to keep going all the way over to Africa dressing African. I'm not going to go over here and steal their culture. I'm not going to go there to get my rights, initiations, and chieftaincy titles. That's why when we look around, what do we see us doing? Brown people are always hopping on any trend, anything that's happening, bouncing around from here to there, from there to here to everywhere, besides reclaiming what we're supposed to have where we are. They don't want that. So, and a lot of us have, like I said earlier on, have been dociled and conditioned systematically to just accept. So instead of standing up and doing the work to take our place here on this land, a lot of people have decided to be okay with, let me run over here and get it. Let me run over here and do it. Let me travel all around. Let me move to Ghana. Return. That's what the whole return to Africa thing has been, a devise, a plan from the very beginning to pull people from away from their true identity and power. So it's saying, oh, if I want to tap into my power, if I want to initiate, if I want to have a culture, I got to go to a whole nother land to get it. Let me spend thousands, millions of my time, energy, money to hop from here to there. First, it was the protesting movement. I raise your fist, I'm Black and I'm proud. Yeah, Black people, go and do that. But what you can't do is reclaim your tribal sovereignty and rights and live and have the culture that you want to have here on this land, because we need your energy and we need this land. So that's what they've done. So yeah, go on, take your asses over to Africa. Let's keep them bouncing around from place to place in confusion and illusion and delusion, confusing the mind, the smoke and mirrors. So we can do everything but say, no, I was born here, I am here, and anywhere I step my feet, anywhere that the Most High, my Ori, places me, I have dominion over it. So that's what they want people to do. We have to reverse the conjure. We have to lean into the primordial mother. This has nothing to do with masculine versus feminine. Get out of the ego. This has to do with the balance and harmony that's needed to take place on this land so our current and future generations can thrive, not just survive. Our mothers had to survive. Our mothers just had to wake up the next day. And before them, they were prisoners of war. So now it's an opportunity for us to not hop, skip here and there and jump and become culture vultures or what they call it, cultural appropriation. We don't got to do none of that. We can create what we want here and have dominion anywhere we step our feet. Stop allowing people, and a lot of it is too, people again have been okay. Why are we okay with that? They're saying, okay, rather than me do what I need to do here, grow my own food here, build and rebuild culture here, set up shop here, I'm just going to go over here and do it. If we are true organic people of the land, that means we have dominion everywhere and anywhere. No longer shall we be moved. That's true sovereignty. That's true power. Wherever I place my feet, I have dominion over it. And we must lean into the primordial mother. Going back to the LGBTQ and all of this other stuff and the reversing of the conjure. I went through that whole Moana 1 and Moana 2 and all of this from the beginning of this live to now to get to this very point of where I am now. So people can understand this is bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than LGBTQ. This is bigger than the masculine versus the feminine. This is bigger than money. This is bigger than power and control. This is about our souls. This is about our lush. This is about our ashe. This is about our power. This is about our continuity and Garden of Eden returning as the heart of Tafiti was restored. This is about Black woman, let it go. Brown woman, indigenous woman, organic woman, let go of the resentment, let go of the anger, let go of the hurt, let go of the feeling, the need to prove your strength by how much you can work and carry it on our shoulders. We don't have to do that anymore because the primordial mother has returned to her throne. I also wanted to touch on the Oshun Oshugbo festival with the Arugba. There was a lot of controversy surrounding the Aruba if you are in the path of Ifa Orisha cosmology, and Oshun State Oshugbo, Nigeria. is a key place on the planet where Oshun was preserved, cultivated, venerated for many, 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 many years. Oshun State Oshogbo, and there is where the Oshun Festival takes place worldwide annually, where all devotees go to venerate the spirit of energy of the river, of life, of continuity, of fertility, which is Oshun. So this year, for the past years, I know I've been in the past, been going there since 2012 or 11 or so. There is always the calabash. There's a ritual that is carried out at the Oshun Festival, Oshun State, Nigeria, Oshogbo. And in this ritual, there is always a young virgin girl who carries the calabash. It's a big calabash that consists of spiritual implements, signifying Oshun's rise and arrival into that town, into the planet, in connection to the river. Short version. This year, I want all Ifaremi devotees to take note, and those who are not, you can still research it. Oshun is a primordial energy of the universe, expresses herself as the divine feminine source of continuity, fertility, and life, abundance, and creation. And so this year there was a male who carried the calabash. And that male's title was referred to as the Baba Osa, which is the male who is next in line after the king of the town to usher in, to carry out all of the rituals, ceremony, and everything for the festival. He, an elder male, strong male, carried the calabash instead of the female, which had been done for many, 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 many years. First time ever, and I don't think it ever happened. But if, quote, somebody can fact check that, because that I'm not sure about. But for a long time, I'm sure it's never happened. So we have to learn to read and flip the codes. This time, instead of that young girl, female, carrying the calabash is heavy, and it has to be carried for miles through a crowd, exciting, high energy, rough. If you've ever been to the festival, you know what I'm talking about. Thousands of people, this girl, female, has to walk through as the Arugba of Oshun, carrying this on her head, big, heavy, through thousands of people. It's a burden, seemingly, but it's also an honor, and it's a ritual, and it's a necessity, especially, and it's sacred for the town. This year, a male did it. So everybody was saying, oh, why would a male do it? He just wants to steal the light. It's all about ego. He wants to show the patriarchal power. It's all about the patriarchal domination. And if Oshun has to choose through divination, through divining, who the Arugba is picking. The Arugba is chosen specifically through a series of ritual and divination. So they were saying if Oshun chose that Arugba, that female, to carry the calabash, why didn't she carry it? Well, some people say she's too small. It would have been too heavy for her. She's only 9. She's a 9-year-old girl. She's small and she's frail. Well, not frail, but she's petite. And they said that's too much for that child to carry. So that's why he must have carried. Everybody had theories, but you have to step outside of chaos. There's a brother who described chaotic energy as feminine energy, and it looks like it's confusion and bad when you're in it, because it's specks of energy that is here and there and everywhere. But when you step outside of it, you can look into it and you see a pattern that makes sense. So I stepped outside of it, and what I saw was another code to flip about the primordial mother returning to the throne. So Oshun knew what she was doing, regardless of what anybody's motive was, or what other people think, or why they did it. Who knows? But we must understand that the primordial energies of the universe, most high source of all, and the great mother, primordial mother, will always reclaim the throne and has the last say. So what I saw was a strong symbol for Oshun women and devotees that moving forward, we will not have to carry that burden. Women have carried a lot. We've gotten a lot of hits from them hitting and attacking our men, us directly, our wounds, taking the wounds out because of a fibroid that can be healed with a herb and simple change of diet, taking our wounds out, cutting and severing our wounds, aborting our babies to try to break and cease and stop the divine feminine from rising and break royal bloodlines. The primordial mother said, no more. Our women have been through enough. We've carried enough. And now the men are ready. That's why you see a lot of brothers that are talking more on these platforms. And I sit back, like I said in the beginning of this show, and applaud them because they have done the work, the inner work, the spiritual work, and the outer work to understand that now it's the men who will they are in the position now. The women who have been in healing circles, who have walked with integrity, who have taken their place as chosen ones. We are activating the mitochondria of certain men who have been holding it down for us and opening the way for us, because we don't have to do the heavy weight and heavy lifting and heavy pulling anymore. Just as the primordial mother has returned to her throne and taken her throne, we can now sit down, baby. I want all of you women to sit down and have a seat. Get comfortable in your seat and wiggle. Relax your shoulders. Restore the heart of Tafiti. Let it go. Begin to feel safe to return to your rightful way and state of being as women in your divine feminine energy. We don't have to do the heavy toting and carrying and pushing no more. We have activated the mitochondria of men who is opening the way and holding it down for women to still continue to rise and take their place on the throne. So thank you to all the men, you, Orisha Bainey, the elders who opened the way, who already set the platform, Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Blair, who else? There's so many people. Yes, I watch sometimes Young Elder. I've seen Rod Hayes on your show and other shows as well. A lot of brothers who, that's called the heavy lifting, because it's not easy to get out here and speak the way that I'm doing, even to have this certain remembrance, to be able to remember, to say what I'm saying. They have done so much to take that power and memory away. So if a person can sit down and speak on many shows and platforms for hours, having that power, the conviction, and the memory to be able to do so, that tells you they've done a certain level of work. So thank you to the brothers for holding it down. But we must take, that was a big message that came through with the festival. Women, take your seat. The primordial mother has returned to the throne. If we sitting on the throne, how can we carry a calabash and wait? We don't have to anymore. And in order to reverse the conjure, it's going to take, we've already done a lot of it, which is why you see they acting desperate now. If we were in the game, we're at the home stretch. How do we reverse the conjure? Everything that they've done to try to undermine organic life, we must work diligently, tongue twister, to do the opposite. Reverse it. Reverse. That's like what they did was take our knowledge, our power, the divine feminine energy, and reverse engineer the thing to go against divine order. So now what we must do is reverse it back. The food that Monsanto and all of these other corporations, the GMO, HMO, whatever we want to call it, the fake food, find those seeds and grow them in your own garden. Reverse it back, baby. The men who think that they are homosexual, that have probably been consuming so much atrazine, they wouldn't even know what's what. I'm going to try to keep it clean. As women, it's not about hate. This is not about love and love. This is not about checkers. It's time to play chess. This don't got nothing to do with that. This is about our continuity and rebalancing and restoring the heart of Tafiti. Women, stop encouraging and supporting men who are dressing like women. We need our men and their masculine state of being that we created them to be. Any woman who is encouraging that, I must question her connection to the power within her as a woman. I must question her connection to the divine feminine primordial mother. I must question her as a manifestation in the physical form of the primordial mother, because that goes against the balance and harmony of nature. It has nothing to do with love or who people like to sleep with. I could care less who people want to sleep with. I could care less, just like Janet Jackson said in that movie that's trending, that little scene. So who doing the bending? I could care less who doing the bending. I could care less how you feel comfortable appearing, that you feel more comfortable in a pair of shorts, or short shorts or a skirt. Women, if you want the heart of Tafiti and the Garden of Eden to return, we must stop encouraging that. Do I love homosexual men? I love them. You know why? Because I know men come from the XX chromosome as a Y. I know we created and we birthed them. I'm always going to love you, and I love you. And as my sons, my heart go out to you because I've watched what the system have done to you. And so as the divine mother and an embodiment and representative of the divine mother, my sons, I call you back. My heart cries out for you. Don't let me start crying for real. And these skirts and switching. And it was so hard for you as a man. And then the women may have failed you in certain ways. And the chemicals and everything they have done to feminize our men, from tricking them through pop culture and the artists and the rap artists who appear as masculine and then did to flip the script, and now they wearing skirts and fingernail polish. I know you got caught up in it. But yes, we need you as our soldiers, as our providers, and as our protectors. I don't care who you like to, who you like to sleep with don't have nothing to do with the big grand scheme of things. And most of you who think that you are gay, you're not. I'm gonna tell you the truth. In American Indian culture and other cultures, are there beings and gods and deities who possess both sexes, who are born with both masculine and feminine body parts as hermaphrodites? They were often, sometimes even worshipped in American Indians, some American Indian and indigenous cultures. But that's rare. That's rare. The great Mother Earth continuity would never create anything that's going to counteract balance. This is about balance and harmony. Balance is what? It's not too much of a thing. A man or woman born with both identities can happen. And sometimes it is beautiful and is necessary. And they are revered. If you do the research, you'll find cultures once saw it as a sign, an act of the gods. But it's not everybody that you see switching up and down the streets now. It's too much. And it's throwing off balance and harmony. And I've been seeing women on social media applauding it, talking about, good, get it, you look good, or he's slaying. No, that is the Lilith energy that I was talking about in the last video. When I say Lilith, Lilith is not bad. No, I'm talking about with feminine energy, just like Oshun can be sweet, Oshun, just like Tafiti and Moana, can also destroy. I'm talking about unbalanced feminine energy. That's what we are trying to, we have to reverse back, because that is what they have done and attacked us in every ritual way to make the woman hard and out of her state of being, because we are connected with the Mother Earth and the primordial mother. And when you shift our energy to being unnatural and imbalanced, that's how the conjure is like a wheel turning. That's how they're able to turn a wheel and continue to siphon and harvest our energy. and to do what they've been doing to us for the past. It's just like a cycle that just saying a broken record. New day, new age, new time, same okie doke. So I wanted to, in this live, expose the Conjure, let people become aware of what the Conjure is, understand how it happened, understand the root of it, which is the primordial mother, divine feminine energy. This is a feminine planet. Don't believe me? Do the research. Any text from the Bible to whatever you want to read is going to go back to waters. Water. This is a water planet. Even this country, called Turtle Island. So once you learn how to manipulate water, the next thing we have to learn to is begin to study alchemy and ritual, because that's what these people are using, our rituals, alchemy and ritual. They're playing chess while we playing checkers. So if you're having Abo perform, you're doing rituals and you don't understand what's making it work, that's the problem. That's where the power lies, and that's the power that they've figured out, that they've been taken from the Ifaremi, like in the Moana movie. So to tie it all together, this is not about home. We have to stop with the home. Anything that they've done to go against the organic, natural way, reverse it back. Plant your own real food and seeds. Don't support all of our men wearing skirts. I said it, and I'm not talking about hate. In fact, that's hate. Anything that destroys the continuity and natural order of life is pure hate. Sitting back and knowing that our men are being coerced and attacked in many ways that they themselves can't even understand to be the way in which they are, and support that, that's hate. I love my sons. I love men. I love us too much to support anything that I know is inorganic and unnatural and goes against us being in our highest form and state of being. Same thing for women. We have to take our rightful place. We have to stop allowing men who have not done their healing work to siphon our energy as women, to pull from our wombs, our light, hold men accountable who haven't done their healing work. Stop laying up with no good men. Hold them accountable. If every woman woman of color decide to keep their legs closed and don't have sex, watch what happens. Until the men decide to get right, do right, be right, act right, and align with their highest, truest form. It all goes back to the mother, divine feminine energy, and the primordial energies. The primordial mother. So begin to take action. We don't need permission to go back to our tribal way. Why are we asking for permission for people who can't give it? We don't have to go through laws. We don't have to do any of that. Just start doing it. What does that look like? Do it. So I named a lot of the things in a previous video. I said a few things just now. Start doing the inner work and start implementing the change that we seek. We don't have to beg for it. We don't stop. It's not just about learning about it, watching videos about it, talking about it. Don't think because you've watched this video or any other videos, you have a certain amount of knowledge, you've read books, that you've done a thing. You haven't done a thing until you've done a thing. And I know it's not easy, but start somewhere. Even if you have a raised garden bed and just 1 square foot of a block, grow your own food. Dig your hands into the soil, reconnect with nature. If you work in an office desk and that's all you can do, that's all you know how to do right now to provide for your family, on the way home, find a park and sit at a tree and talk to it and love on the earth and say, Mother Earth, I love you and I thank you. Start today and start now to reverse the disconnection from the earth and us, to reverse the usurpation that took place from trying to take the seeds out of fruit so that the seeds cannot be replanted into organic fruit again. How wicked and evil is that? Start combating it in every way that you see that is not natural. Don't be okay with it. There's a way that you can combat it and help the mother to fully return to her throne. So that's the overall message that I wanted to share for this live. I already said I took some notes, but I know once spirit kicked in, I was just going to start channeling and something else would take over. I hadn't even had a chance to look down at this paper of notes, but I think I touched on mostly everything that spirit, my higher self, that came to me yesterday. What kept coming to me is Sophia. I want y'all to look into the Sophionic energy and the Christ consciousness, because Christ consciousness must come through the activation of the mitochondria that is connected to the primordial mother. Mother, mama, matrix, anyone or any man any woman or any man that wants to access Christ consciousness, because that's how we're moving back into our crystalline state of being, hence the changes in the sun, hence the changes in the rises of the water, hence the strange stuff we see going on in the sky. We are at the very home stretch of returning to, most of us, Christ consciousness and our crystalline high vibrational state of being. So we can support that. And if we really want to stop living in this repetitive cycle and illusion of time and break the broken record, what we have to do is be the change. Go against every aspect of anything that's inorganic, imbalanced, and not in alignment with our organic original state of being. Sophia. So Sophia is seen a lot in Gnostic texts. We talk about Lilith a lot. We've heard about Mary. We talk about Olosun, but we forget Sophia. Sophia is the materialization into matter of God. Sophia is God in God in the form of matter, and the wisdom of God, the heart of God. Sophia is expressed throughout the Bible, and we know that the Bible is an occult book with hidden messages and codes, and that was combined. Was created by combining a lot of different ancient sacred texts. So we still need the Bible. We can reference it to decode the Conjure. So Sophia is referred in the Bible, research it, several times indirectly. Sophionic energy is the energy we need to be in right now. Man, woman, child, female, that we need to honor. That's what came to me to speak on. I kept hearing Sophia last night. Dive into it. As I shared this with one of my sisters, I said, I can see it. A lot of times I can see things, I remember things, but it's hard to articulate it and put into words. I mentioned to you before, I do need to probably do a live with Rod Hayes some type of way, because I notice he's like a walking dictionary. And because of indoctrination, sometimes people need to have a direct book reference. They need to, see a degree. They need to see this or that and the other to believe it. But a lot of the information that I receive is from direct transmissions and from my remembrance, from the Akashic records, from past lives, from my ancestors, and through whispers in the night, signs and symbols and codes that I've learned to, over the years, decode and understand. So to just wrap things up, I want to read this passage, because my sister was so kind of sent this to me. I said, I need to put this in context, into words for the people in a way that they can understand beyond the way that I'm seeing it and the way that I'm hearing it. I never saw this text. I never knew it existed. I just mentioned that I kept hearing Sophia, and that now we are moving into Christ consciousness. And she said, maybe this will help. And she sent this to me. So I'm just going to read it. And then I'm going to turn the stage back over to Orisha Bailey, because I'm just going, because Spirit is moving through me.
You ain't turning no stage back to me. I'm going to keep it going to you. Look, I'm a ball player, boy. When somebody in the zone, you keep feeding them the rock. You let them go. So I'm going to stay out your way, and I'm going to, you go ahead and go.
Well, okay. Well, let's do it then. We in the game. So this is from AscensionGlossary.com. AscensionGlossary.com. And is under Siphoning female coding. Siphoning female coding. It reads, the Holy Mother is progressively returning to reclaim and restore her creation through the advanced Godhead technology included in the Ark Zone and 13th pillar. We know that 13 is a number that they try to demonize, but is a number of feminine energy as well. The advanced Godhead technology included in the Ark Zone Blu-ray, this really breaks down the science and metaphysics and quantum physics and all of the planetary galactic aspect of it all. Ark Zone Blu-ray architecture is modifying the planetary grid to transmit levels of the Siphoning female coding and her sacred animating spiritual quintessence that involves the emergence of the Holy Mother. Spiritual aspects to finally take shape within matter forms. This is the heralding debut of the cosmic mother Crystalla architecture, which give rise to the universal solar feminine principle and the holy daughter embodiment of Christos, Sophia template on earth. As the patriarchal cold system starts to break down or dissolve, it is allowing for a more organic, vertical spiritual connection to the mother arc gates that serve the planetary grid systems for regenerating the Trinity wave energies to circulate through the diamond heart networks. With the mother arc gateway breathing her aquiline sun plasma rays onto the earth grids, this has restored enough energetic balance and the Christique architecture to finally bring into the manifestation of the universal solar feminine templating, which allows the mother's Sophionic principle to manifest onto earth. And it goes on. I'm going to skip a few parts for the sake of time. This aquamarine ray is the blue diamond chalice frequency of the overflowing golden cup of the divine love found within the sacred crystal heart. Remember, heart of Tafiti. I never made this all is just, I never knew anything about this thing until last night when my sister sent me this passage. And I put it together in my mind from Moana. Sacred gold crystal heart. This represents humanity's real parent. This represents humanity's real parent, the cosmic mother, resurrecting herself into the falling realm to be able to fully protect and reclaim her children from the phantom. Enlil Nilo. I added that. She is the aquiline heart, beating to reclaim the vertical spiritual connections that make up the great white lion grid. The feline genetics of the mother's tetramorph pattern that represent the Sophionic wisdom of the Sphinx, the Sphinx, being returned back into wholeness through the knowledge of the divinity. So I just wanted to read that piece. Again, you can find is a lot of information on AscensionGlossary.com. I have no idea who facilitates this site. I don't know where this is coming from. I just know, again, my sister sent it to me, and I kept hearing this last night. The day before, the night before last, because then I told my sister, and she sent this to me that I could speak on, and she added this to my what I want to share today for further clarification and reference. So you can go to it, read it in full detail. It's going to bring everything together that I've spoke on, and you're going to see that this is bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than what we think. This is chess, not checkers. This is about the existence of the planet. This is about the continuity of the planet. This is about our future generations. Stop playing around with trying to look cute and sex and all this other stuff. Our mother principle gently guides us to know the truth that in order to deeply heal, one must be able to deeply feel. Be in connection with heart, mind, and body, Merkaba balance. And I just added that. And to empathize with the feelings of others. It's the heart. It's the heart that has been under attack. Continue to love. Continue to care. Continue to love. Heart chakra. The mother aspect of the Godhead and the Siphoning female principle are what gently nudge us to feel safe enough to look inside and feel our sacred crystal heart again. As we merge with our mother's cosmic heart, she holds us stable in a field of omni love so that we can fully discover the contents of our own crystal heart. And so I'm just going to leave it there. And again, I urge you to go on the website and read more about it. Who knows where this came from, but this is somebody else who's channeling the same messages, I've been told to use the word transmission, who are receiving the same transmissions that I'm receiving. It sounds cliche, it sounds small, but the path to ascension and to Christ consciousness is through healing our heart chakra. Last thing I want to provide you with the tools. Now, I've told you what it is. I've told you how it is. I've told you why it is. Now, this is what you do on top of the things that I've mentioned to reverse the conjure. Work on your heart chakra. Forgive. Face your shadows because they've been using those shadows to control you. Overcome surface level emotions because those are energies and motions that they're manipulating as well. Overcome hurt, disappointment, pain. Whatever you've been through in life. Shift the energy by tapping into that hurt and that pain and shining light on those shadows. Meditate, sit with the earth, give it to the earth. She has the ability, she has the ability, Mother Earth, Father Earth has the ability to alchemize that energy for us. Dig a hole in the ground. Speak into the earth. Give it, talk to it. Give it whatever you want to pack inside of it. Again, sit with a tree. Tell the tree what you need. I said when we first started, when we were loading up the live, I had told Brother Orisha Bamey I was going to grab my crystals. So grab you some rose quartz, wear more pink. Pink can go to the masculine side of things, but it's also a part of heart chakra energy. You can wear green. Wear green. Work with green crystals. Wear your copper to heal. Wear silver, which is connecting to lunar energy, feminine energy. Wear more 100% real silver. Sometimes I'll sleep with this. Believe it or not, I'll put this big old thing on my heart. I charge it. I put it in the sun. I cleanse it. And I talk to the crystal gemstone which holds memory and is a conduit of energy. Put it on your heart chakra. I have this one here as well. I keep, in my room, I keep different crystals. This is amethyst, which helps, tap into your third eye, all knowing, all seeing. But this, a lot of people now want to pretend to be spiritual and ride the spiritual trend wave. This is not a game. Being spiritual is actively doing the work, the inner work and the outer work. This is not a game anymore. You can't fake it till you make it, because what's going to happen is, as we come back into our Christ consciousness, you see a lot of Christians talking about God is returned. Jesus is coming back. Not the Jesus you think, boo-boo. It's not the white man with blue eyes. I forgot, Gorgeous, whatever his name is. It's not him. The things that you're seeing, the weather phenomenons that's happening, is talking about the 144 frequencies that's coming back online. When he talk about the 144,000, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Christ consciousness. And if you haven't done the inner work, you can wear as many elekes as you want. You can get as many buy as many titles as you want. You can look as fly with the amount of gold, cars, Maserati, whatever you want to ride in as you want. But when the shift fully takes place, you're not going to be able to exist in this reality anymore. You're going to phase out. Some people are even predicting that people will start exploding on the spot. I don't know.
Spontaneous combustion. That part.
Or you may begin to exist in a different paradigm realm where we're not going to be able to see you over here who've been doing real spiritual work. Real spiritual work is having a good heart, being pure-hearted, is healing your shadows, doing the inner, working on your inner child trauma, forgiving those, not for others, but for yourself, keeping your heart light as a feather. Is doing everything with integrity. It is moving in harmony and balance with the primordial mother. And if you have been doing everything against that, I don't care what ebo you think you can do. The age of energy manipulation is over. I said that in the last video. I said it on my Facebook page. A lot of people see me and they see me embracing my sensual energy, and they think, oh, she just into looks and her appearance. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted of who I am by who you see when you look at me. But if you look at me very well, I'm not from here. Many of us are not. Many of the chosen ones are not. I'm more than what you see when you look at me. And so for those who haven't been doing the work, I'm not going to say too much. We shall see as time go on. But this is the message. Most of us who are in alignment with the primordial mother and doing what we came here to do, wasn't supposed to come back to this planet this go around. I found it out during my initiation. I saw it during my remembrance and different ceremonies, and I've seen my coming to earth and where I came from. I shared that with you before, Risha Baby. And I got the assignment and the place of where I was, and when as a queen, mother, space, realm that I came from of light beings. And I was called to council, and they said, come back. We need you to come back. And I looked at them like, what? And even in Nigeria, a bunch, all the people who initiated me, they said, you come from a realm of whiteness. You must always walk with the pure heart. You can never lie. You should never lie. You should never do this. They tell you these things during initiation. And so you want to, again, embrace fully who you are in this life, so know your true identity and your true power. That's why I share that piece of story. And I'm just a messenger. True chosen ones, we understand that we are here to serve. We're not about ego. We're not about money. Take all this shit away. Excuse me, am I able to curse?
No, fuck that. Yes, take it all away, because we still gonna be here doing what we do.
We're gonna still do what we do. I don't care about, do I like nice things? Yes. Do I value some of course we are meant to have gold and luxury and all that, but that's why I was on the earth organically. We was rocking gems and gold for many ages. But is that why what I care about primarily? This is what we have to get back to: the individual for the collective. I'm here for a mission. Each one of us, especially chosen ones, we have a mission. And nothing to no one, no man, no job. When a lot of people were fear-mongering into getting the COVID-19, the vaccine, that they would lose their jobs. You know how many people set their pots and shrines aside to get something stuck into? I'm not judging, but this is important for me to mention. Because if you want to stay in alignment with the Siphoning energy, the primordial mother, and reverse the Conjure, we cannot be tricked anymore through the illusion and confusion. A lot of people were fear-mongered and threatened that they would lose the very thing that sustained them and their families. And I get why many did it. And they agreed to have something injected into their blood, into their veins, that they didn't even know what it was, from the very person who've been oppressing them and their ancestors and forefathers from generations, who want to see their demise or want to usurp and take their energy. Instead of them going to their pots and their shrines and abo and leaning on Mother Nature and the herbs that Mother Nature provided, they turned and panned their arms over to the very enemy that's been attacking their ancestors and us in many different ways for years. So we can't be tricked and bamboozled anymore. So that's it, brother, I think.
Nah, listen. I don't got a whole lot, because look, I ain't trying to convolute and cloudy up the waters, boy. Because look, you dropped a lot of sunshine, boy. A lot of sunshine was dropped today. But you hit so many key, and I mean extremely key points. I'm sitting here taking notes too. Shout out to the tribe. I seen multiple people in this. I had to go and grab my pen and pad. Look, I stay prepared. What they say, stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. I stay prepared with my. Every time I do this, I'm taking notes too. Cause I done share it with the tribe. Look, I'm learning too, man. I give thanks to all the guests, because every time I suit up, man, I'm learning just as well as the audience. So it's like, but you hit so many volatile key points. Even the last point with the jab, the people who took the jab. When you said that, and shout out to OB1111. I don't even know if they, hopefully it's still on, but they had commented that I had said something that they was thinking the same thing. I think they were referencing the Get Out part, but excuse me. When you started speaking about the jab, at the time I was still in corporate America, and I had already committed and decided that if these mother fluckers try to say that we got to take that or else, then I'm going in the line of or else, and I'm going to figure this issue out, because you got me effed up if you think I'm going to let you do anything that I know can jeopardize everything that the great creator in heaven gave me to come to this planet with. So therefore, I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to keep on pushing and keep on fighting the way I've been doing for 45 plus years, because if I'm still here breathing right now, you in for a long day's work if you think I'm just going to fold like a lawn chair and lay down, because you got me effed up. Now, I'm serious though, because that's my mentality. But there's a difference. There's a difference in the line in the sand. You either, and when you were saying that, I thought about when I went through that, because a lot of us did. And I'm not judging, and I'm not condemning those who did. You got to do whatever is right for you and yours to support you and yours. But however, I know how to get it out the mud, and I'm going to get it out of the mud by any means necessary. And I know you are not going to make me do anything that my creator did not sanctify to say that something I'm supposed to do. So yeah, miss me with that. However, it made me think about a lot of things when you were saying that, because also I remember the last, if not the last time, one of the last times that I had Baba Small on, and he went in. It was phenomenal, man, because he shared so much knowledge and information about his personal spiritual journey that I've never heard him share anywhere else. And I've watched a lot of his videos. I never heard him share that kind of insight like he did here. And at the end of it, he boiled it down to leaving it at the very end saying, so my school of thought is freedom or death, period. And we started the show. I gave honor and homage, you know what I'm saying, pour libations to those freedom fighters who to me signify everything that matters when it comes to freedom or death, which is those on the island of Haiti that started on August 21st, 1791. And so I'm commemorating once again on the way out that same level of love, respect, admiration, and appreciation of those who came before, who have the same mentality as you and I. And I'm grateful for you to be able to share your perspective, your insight, and your powerful wisdom, understanding, overstanding, understanding, and then understanding of all that you shared today. Because I could have said that a million times and it wouldn't have resonated the way you know what I'm saying, said it in the way it resonated. So for that, I am truly grateful. Even so much so, like even talking about like what we talked about before we came on air, you know, in regards to the balance and like some of the things that are taking place in regards to what's happening and manifesting in the physical plane based off of something that I share with you that happened in the spiritual realm. Like it comes full circle. And I'm just grateful to be here to be the facilitator. And I was taking notes, and one of the notes that Spirit gave to me to share. And I was just talking to one of my bros earlier before we got on the call about like staying in containment and like keeping that calm, cool head, you know, of an Obatala or a child of Orunmila. Because I do have, you know, a Shango essence that's instilled within me as well. And all my life, I've only known the Shango energy all my life until, you know, I met my path in my journey in Ifa. And then Obatala and Orunmila came and took over. And so I'm grateful for that because they've taught me patience. They've taught me, you know, peace. They've taught me serenity. They've taught me how to go within and not choose violence and choose destruction first. And I feel like in true spirit form, my whole entire journey and process in life has been similar to what the title is, which is reversing the conjure. I wouldn't say that my Shango energy was ever anything that was a conjure. However, I had no problem conjuring that energy to fuck shit up if I have to, because I came here to do that. I will fuck some shit up. That's what I'll do. But that necessarily wasn't the right thing to do. And there's a difference because sometimes in life you do gotta fuck shit up.
That's the
But
balance sometimes with the Obatala people. To get that peace, you got to destroy and, fuck some shit up.
so I'm just giving thanks for real, like to spirit and to the divine, you know, the divine alignment with how this all came together. And I'm truly grateful because that's one thing that I shared on the conversation right before we came on is about how grateful I am about Obatala instilling that peace and serenity and that patience, you know, within me, because he put the white into my red, and that's why I get where my path is at now. You know what I mean? So people, like you were saying earlier, I can't remember exactly what it was, but you was talking about, I think, one of the movies and how much like was in that picture or in that movie that was like layered, you know what I'm saying? Like in metaphysics and layered, and you know, and that's what this channel is. I say it humbly, but it's truly layered in a lot of metaphysics and a lot, and I mean a lot of messages are layered upon this channel. Even so much looking at the doggone cover photo of white and red, that's layered. You know what I'm saying? I don't get into it, but it's layered. The colors
Yeah.
of the mothers, that's layered. Like this is, you know, but I say all that to say that only the mothers could do and say and come in here and make the impact that you made, and I'm grateful for that. And that's what I'm grateful for more than anything else, is like my relationship with the mothers. I've always had a great relationship with the mothers and the feminine energy because I know who and what I am, and I know who sent me. You know, I know what I came here for. So I come to do what I came here to do, and I give thanks, man, for me, the tribe, and everybody who's been, you know, active in the comments, man. This has been a monumental moment. It's been like phenomenal. The first one was dope. I ain't gonna lie. I think you might have I think you might have. I think you might have ran a lap on the first one with this one, because this one was even doper, I think. But that's just my opinion. But I think the tribe is agreeing too, man. So with
I'm just,
that,
I am a servant, but what I am serving is my higher. I serve others as it is my mission to serve my higher self and my reason for being here. So I must only share. And before even if I have my own YouTube channel, so family, I do have, when I first got on the public platform of speaking, on my YouTube channel, Rising to Your Power, Ifaremi, with Chief Ifaremi Olosun. And even on my social media, I'm on Instagram at ifaremi.olosun. And I started a TikTok. If you notice, I really haven't done much on my own channel. I just kind of play around on Instagram and post myself. doing sensual movements, embracing my feminine energy, because I intentionally do things to stay soft. And I'm, people are still visually driven. So that's a part of my mission in leading with Olosun as one of my Orisha. If you didn't catch the last episode, I am initiated into Ifa, Olosun, Obatala, and Egbe. I am also a metaphysician and self-proclaimed metaphysician, as I have studied metaphysics for 15 years. I'm a natural born seer. I have visions, dreams, and I'm able to interpret them. That has been passed down from generation to generation from my bloodline. My grandmother had prophetic dreams and visions. Her grandmother, from her stories, had the same. My maternal line, 7 generations, is out of Chura, South Carolina, the Chura tribe. Outside of that, I have, international DNA, because we were all over this land before Columbo or anybody. We were organic people of the land. So my ancestors were already nothing new under the sun, as I said in the last video, already intermixing, just like we do now. That's like when I would go to Nigeria and see Nigerian men, or when men travel here, they come together and they connect and they reproduce. We did it before. We were caught up in a time loop cycle, different time playing out, and the possibility of playing out in different ways. So I have international DNA. What else about me that the folks might want to know? I'm a Reiki master teacher. I started off with Merkaba Holistic Healing. It was my first business where I was performing Reiki certification, Reiki 1, 2, and attunement, Reiki 3. I'm I guess what you would call a light worker. I'm able to move and heal through light energy, because that's the gift from which the realm that I came from, the celestial realm that I came from. And also self-proclaimed herbalist for mothers, because when I detached from the system and I started giving birth to babies, I had to figure out how to heal my babies with nature. Even myself and my children, we had contracted the thing that was created twice. And I healed myself and my children, even as I was in and out of it a lot of the time with herbs. So I had to learn how to do that. So I share all of these knowledge and wisdoms with people who are guided to me for me to work with. I do have a website, Ifaremi.com, where I facilitate Ifa consultations to see into what we may not be able to see with the physical eye, whatever's going on with a person spiritually. I will be teaming up also with Orisha Bami and doing more of the spiritual work, reversing the Conjure, healing intergenerational trauma, and all the stuff that they've been doing to us here on this land. Because I've been traveling to Nigeria since 2011 or so, twice a year, facilitating initiations, and eyes is tired of going over there every time for the past. And it's a lot. It's a lot for a female leader to go over there by myself in a patriarchal community of spiritualists who see a pretty or attractive African American woman and maybe some other benefits. I had to go through all of those lessons and walk with my whole spiritual army every time I go over there and come back. While there's so many good and beautiful people there, there's still cultural differences and things that come with that. And many people are going to know what I'm talking about. So I've done that. And so I did all of that for the purpose of bringing it back home, because this is why I was born in this geographical location. Here, I could have been born anywhere on the planet in this life, because I remember many of my lives. So I'll be bringing it back here with the help. And as brother Orisha Bami is already doing the work himself with the readings, with the Ebo, he putting in the work and calling in more people with pure hearts, pure intentions, knowledge, chosen ones, people of light and love, that we can continue to come together in community to heal and to restore the heart and to reverse the conjure and to step back into our power. So that's just a quick recap of who I am for those who didn't see the first live. And I'm just thankful to be here. Thank you, Orisha Bami, again for creating this platform and being the Obatella that you are, light. I know you had a Shango and you can go into the spiritual warrior path, but it's the light that you have that has created, like I shared with you before, such a unique platform that you said they was trying to shut down and interfere with and all of that, because you are bringing together many different worlds of spiritual power and knowledge and wisdom. You're bringing together the Orisha, and I don't call it African spirituality anymore. I changed the term to indigenous spirituality because this is indigenous spirituality that has taken on avatar forms across many countries. You're going to see avatar forms of the Orisha and Ayati that you mentioned earlier. You're going to see it in Shinto in Asia. You're going to see it, but they're just different avatars of the same primordial energies that has adapted to different peoples, location, lands, resources, and so on and so on. So I call it indigenous spirituality. So you've brought together indigenous spirituality, which is actively performing ritual to undo a thing. And then you've brought in people who has the book knowledge, the receipts, the remembrance, the history, who can provide and add extra context to activate people on your channel. So you're providing the activation and the solution. And I shared with you, that's why they was trying to shut it down. But game over. Game over, boo. The primordial mother is back. And y'all ain't never really been running shit. And y'all can't run. Let me let the Baltimore. I'm also born and raised in Baltimore. Although my grandmother came from Churro, South Carolina, and I was born in Baltimore because this is a rebellious, strong, tough. I had to get that toughness as a spiritual warrior. So yeah, y'all ain't running shit. Y'all ain't never been running shit, and your time is over. Okay? Yes. So thank you, Orisha Bami. And again, all of you brothers that's out there creating a space for our people to get on the right side of right and to align with their power.
Yeah, this is one of them ones. This was definitely one of them ones. So I don't know how much time you got, Oloye, but we got we got several questions. But if time permits and you have time, I would like to jump into just a few, if time permits. Does time permit to answer a few questions from the tribe?
Yeah, last time we went about 3 hours, and I didn't get much time to answer questions, so I really want to do that this time.
Okay, no, I appreciate you, and yeah, I'll make it brief. I know we both got a lot going on that we got to do, on top of this too. But this is what I love doing. I know you love doing, and like it was a divine alignment, for this to even happen. And so, first and foremost, before I even bring up the questions, like I give thanks and gratitude to you, and shout out to Professor. What's her name again, please? I don't know if she want to be named, but shout out to the professor who made the connection.
Latoya Robinson Golar, my sister, chosen one, light bearer, activator, as she called herself. She's also anybody. I don't have many people in my close circle. So if they're in my close circle, they're pure-hearted, they're powerful, even to really rock and roll with me on that level. You like the birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
She is an out of this world, literally, sister. So yes, thank you, sister, Professor Latoya Robinson Golar, for the recommendation and for the connection for me to reach out to Orisha Bami right on time.
Look, I give thanks to her and to you, and to the mothers, to the divine for making it happen, because it's bigger than me, like for real. Because I'm just a facilitator. I'm a messenger. I'm an emissary. Like I came here to do a job. That's what I'm doing. But I know that we're not on an island by ourselves. You know what I mean? And so, and even to the point where there are people who reach out that want to collaborate or be and on the show and all that, but I know there has to be a certain element of authenticity and a certain element of divinity, to align in order for me to do that, just to keep it sacred and sanctified within what, Spirit put on me. And I'm going to say this again, too, because there's been a lot of new followers, a lot of new subscribers to the channel, but I didn't come up with this concept, not even the name. Like Spirit gave this to me, and I'm grateful to have the ears to hear, what Spirit led me to, go into. And I didn't even want to do it when Spirit was kicking my butt to make me do it. But trying to be a child that's obedient, I had to, because I learned some lessons real early in my spiritual journey. Like, if you don't listen, things can get real ratcheted up real quick. It can get real snarky on you. So I didn't want to get snarked up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to listen. I had no idea it would blossom into what it is, but that goes to show the level of having a conviction and having a level of faith, in a higher power, in a higher energy or a higher frequency or a higher creator or something that's above, all of humanity and all of creation. So therefore, my faith and my belief in the universal prime creator is what led me to step out on faith to do it way before, I was ready to do it. So I give thanks to her. I give thanks to you. I give thanks to the ancestors and to the universal prime creator, for me, to even giving me the blessings of having the ears to hear and just be obedient. And with that, I'm grateful, like truly grateful, because this has been a powerful, powerful, powerful show. I'm going to bring a couple of questions up real quick.
I want to say real quick, I was saying it before that I haven't really been active anywhere else. And that's because I take my mouth and my ashe very seriously. And even before I do any speakings, I'll meditate and I'll reflect, and I approach it as a spiritual, yes, as I mentioned before, transmission on what does the Most High source of organic creation, the divine in me, want me to speak on. And so if I don't have a something meaningful to talk about, I know a lot of people are more interested in content, but I'm more interested in quality. And I love that you bring a lot of quality information on your channel. And I'm more interested on purpose and making sure that what I'm saying is divinely guided and meaningful. So that's why I haven't really been too active other places. I'm also putting a lot of things in motion to be able to better serve my people here. So this has just been a perfect happy medium for me to come here and still use my voice to share the divine messages that's been coming to me or that comes to me. So just to quickly add that.
Ashe, I appreciate it. And listen, that speaks volumes to what I was, pretty much hitting on. Like, this is bigger than me. It ain't about me. It's about being obedient and a much higher power than me. So with that, I'm gonna drop in a couple of questions real quick so we can get up out of here. But shout out to Chloe Dior, who is a bona fide certified Ashe tribe member. I give thanks to you and all the love and support, Chloe. You always here showing up and representing and sharing, Ashe, your Ashe, and light with the tribe. So her question was, but don't people have to get vaccines to travel to Africa? I like to ask the difficult questions. I do too, Chloe. So we got a lot in common. But nah, you don't have to get that jab. Now there are certain pills, maybe. Like I know I had to take the malaria pills, and I think that might be the only thing I had to take. But I didn't have to. Did you have to get any type of shots outside of like the malaria medication to go to Africa?
So what happened was when it first hit, right? The whole, I don't like to keep giving it like
Yeah, we don't even got yeah. Yeah.
When the whole thing hit, I still was going to Nigeria. I still had to go there. I was still taking clients there for initiation. And it reached a point where you had to prove that you had gotten the vaccine. She's right. They wasn't letting anybody in to travel without it. But again, when there's a will, there's a way. And when we get quiet in our Obatala energy, like you said before, instead of reacting, we're responsive and we go within and we let be guided by our higher self, not by systems, not by man, not by anybody, but what our higher self tells us, and we trust in that. See, spirituality and aligning with our divine mission is trusting in everything that we've been given, that it is enough for us. Now, there are times where even our higher self will tell us to do a certain thing that may involve certain things that may not necessarily be ideal for us, but everything must be divinely guided. So I went within and I tapped into my power within, and I said, I don't want to do it. I said, I don't want to get it. I need to still go over there. This is a mission that I'm still being guided to do. but I don't want to get this thing. Something just telling me don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know fully what it is. I don't know fully what it's going to do. I don't know the all full effects of it. And I've embraced a certain type of lifestyle, and I've left that type of lifestyle behind me in terms of depending on the medical system and this, that, for everything. Will I still turn to modern medicine if need be? Yes, because that's still ours. That's our ancient technology that was just revamped. And so when you study comedic sciences, you'll learn that we were already doing operations and dissections, and we'd already figured out how to do all that stuff. It was just taken and revamped and put into modern medicine. And sometimes things have reached a point where we need more invasive. Modern medicine is more of an invasive type of medicine. It's not necessarily preventative. So I had adopted a lifestyle where I decided to live more of a preventative type of way. So I was like, I don't want to get it. So that's when out of nowhere, there was another brother traveling, long story short, to Ghana. And I saw him posting about it. And he said, I said, I want to travel, but I ain't trying to get that. How are you traveling? Are you getting it? And he said, no, let me send you this form. So it is a religious exemption form that he sent to me, that I was able to travel to Ghana and to Nigeria without getting it. So, spirit still made a way for me, because my higher self had saw that I had made the decision within myself. Like, sometimes things are a test. And like you was saying kind of before, Risha Baby, when that came out, it was kind of a divide. It was a very pivotal moment. Some people was even referring to it as the mark of the beast, because it was a test. It was a social and medical experiment and a tactic of manipulation. And it really goes deep. I don't want to make this long and drawn out, but it was also to thrust people further into separation, into their homes, into modernization, in the terms of technology, computer to working from home, separation, disconnect. And so that now we have pulled you out of nature even further, out of community even further. And now you're sitting at home alone because you're scared of your fellow man. So it was a divide that really divided those who is really serious, who are unwavering, who were unwaveringly, I believe is the word, unshakable, unwilling to compromise what they had decided to take it, and those who took it. I'll say that again. Not everybody know what we knew. Not everybody had reached the level of ascension that we may have reached, those who didn't take it. And I'm not judging you, and I get it. I even shared something on my page before. There's ways that you can detox it out of your system. There's always, no matter what they do, because we have direct connections to the celestial spirit energies from which we came in Mother Earth, our genetic composition will always be able to get back to where it's supposed to be under the right conditions. So you can detox and meditate and reactivate your pineal gland and sacred genetic coding and remembrance through certain things. There's a lot of research out there on it. So she's right. I did face the possibility of having to get it. I filled out a religious exemption form, in which I do, because of my spiritual preference, we work the roots. My grandmother, we work the roots. We work with our shrines. We work with Ifa. We work with the Orisha. We work with our spiritual team in order to heal ourselves. And this is how I take a part of my devotion as an Olorisha means I work in unison with nature and organic life and the power primordial energies of creation and of the universe as my first source. And so my choice to not take it was religious, in the terms of modern day how it's defined, spiritual, religious, same thing. It was a faith-based choice. And that's how I got out of taking it. So when there's a will, there's a way. And I can go on and on and on how I came to the decision where I had to do a thing or not do a thing. And I just stuck out my choice to not do it. and my spiritual, celestial, benevolent spiritual team came in and provided me with what I needed. So we just have to push past the fear. Fear is crippling, and it's also a tool, it's a tactic, it is a weapon. Fear, some people say, well, you need fear. Fear protects you from jumping off of a bridge. No, it don't. Fear is not what protects you from jumping off of a bridge. Fear is not a source of preservation. Fear is a source of um, oppression, is a crutch. It's crippling. It's codependency. It's manipulation. What keeps you from jumping off of the bridge is discernment and wisdom, not fear. People do a lot of bad things that compromise their life from fear. But it's the knowledge and wisdom. If I jump off this bridge, I might not make it. That's going to keep you from jumping off the bridge. So fear is not a natural energy. It's not a positive or benevolent energy. It is a malevolent energy, and it's counterproductive to our survival and to our survival instincts. So if you're ever in a relationship, faced with opposition or choice, whatever it is, if you're basing your decision off of, if any of it is rooted in fear from a past experience, from past hurt, or they might hurt me again, this might happen again, I might lose my job, I might not be able to feed my family, that's not your higher self speaking. That is a lower vibrational entity frequency that is inorganic and unnatural to us. I don't care. And that's just my personal, I done lived it again and again and again. So we don't want to make important decisions based off energy and motion. It's temporary. We want to lean to our higher self and knowledge and wisdom, and that's Sophionic energy.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm out here. Yeah. I'm out here like I'm trying to draw up some assignments, not really assignments, but requests for the tribe. So this was on my spirit before this episode, but I'm gonna share it now. I don't know how far of a hip hop head you are, but I'm still a hip hop head. Although I know the culture was infiltrated and hijacked by some parasitical forces, but I don't f them people and parasites. But I ain't gonna lie though, like this came to my spirit for real on some real ish. But I was thinking, I don't know if it was yesterday or a couple of days ago, but I was like, you know what? I was like, yo, I like, man, Chief Ifaremi, that like she like the Foxy Brown of the tribe, bro. Like I just was thinking like all I could think about, seriously though, I swear to God, I got the firm. I want to play it, but I know they be getting strikes. But tribe, listen, I challenge all of y'all, listen to the album The Firm Fiasco, the first song. Like that's all I could think about. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
yo,
gotta go
she
back
got
and listen to it.
yeah, I like she bringing that Foxy Brown like feminine presence like to the tribe. And I just thought about the firm because Nas still doing what Nas do. Like and he been
Yeah,
out since like
I
'90s,
love Nas.
early
He
'90s,
was
mid
really
'90s
good.
with
Yeah.
Illmatic.
Mm-hmm.
But that Firm album was dope. And I just recall 200 Fallen Angels, We Ballin' from Every Angle, Tabernacle. Like, man, AZ, they went in on that. So I was just like, yo, you bring the firm, like Foxy Brown firm element to the tribe, man, to the channel, for real, for real. So it's
Thank you
like,
for that.
because it's beautiful, it's elegant, but it's like, it'll still fuck you up. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I'm just being real. I promise. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Like, I'm being real. Like, that's why I like, yo, she brings that element to the tribe for real, because it's magical, and I'm grateful, man. I love it, like for real, like so. Yeah, Firm Fiasco tribe. Listen to the Firm Fiasco song. 200 Fallen Angels, We Ballin' from Every Angle, Tabernacle, Elohim coming at you. Y'all know the song if y'all if y'all know it,
Okay. I
but
gotta go
that's
back
what I
and listen
feel like
to it.
that
I got
energy.
rusty.
Man, listen, to bring it from spiritual to hip hop to have fun with it, like for real, that's really what I get.
Yeah.
And I meant to say something about that too, but yeah, it was an honor and a pleasure. Shout out, I think this is her right here. Shout out to the Queen Latoya, for making
Hey,
that.
sister.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for real. Because this is beautiful, and I'm just the messenger. I'm here, to give thanks. And Tribe, I apologize if I didn't get to all the comments because there was a lot of them. But I appreciate all of y'all for the love and support. And there was one other thing that I wanted to share before we get out of here is collaboration over competition. There were some things that I saw in the comments that I have some type of thoughts about, but I won't speak about them publicly because I'm a man that if I have a situation that I need to address, I'd rather address it personally, one-on-one, in person, or even over the phone, preferably in person. But it's not worth going that route. But I will say this: there are some people who I do feel like ego is still a problem. I feel like their agenda is bigger than the unification of the mission for the universal, you know what I'm saying, cause. And I'm one of them ones where I'm gonna speak on it because I don't see y'all. I'm not into. I don't give for real. Like I'm gonna go back to Obatala. So, but I'll leave it there. But holla at me. Like I leave my socials, my emails, and all that. If it's an issue, holla at me because we can, whatever. But for real, because I rather.
It's funny. It's funny. I literally had a 3-hour conversation saying what you just said. That everyone is saying, well, we have a community. We have an Elay as a community, and I said, we'll break down what community means. Commune, being able to come together and commune, communing with higher self, or commune when you have communion, and then unity. So I said, if you're not able to come together and commune on a higher plane for a higher purpose, to come in communion and unity. Unity is not just for, yourself. That's talking about a collective, for the greater good, for the collective. So I was saying, if you're not doing what's best for the greater good, you don't have a community. You have a fragmented system. You have a fragmented system that's a broken system, not a community group of people that's together, where there's going to be something missing somewhere. And you're going to miss the point of it all. So community, that's what the word itself means, is about our mission here is not about the individual, because we are in a physical body that's going to perish. When a lot of new systems are coming back online where we're going to have med beds and we're going to live longer and we're going to have that real food and we're going to have that cell food. But, as we know it now, this is just an avatar. So what are we truly living for? We're living to expand our consciousness, to fulfill a purpose on behalf individual for the collective. So we got to put our individual wants, needs, thoughts, ego, all that stuff to the side. Because like I said earlier, other entities, beings, forces, and people are playing chess while we still playing checkers over here, because we as a people have suffered statistically, Google it, more than any other people on the planet, the most complex traumas ever through history, because we've been attacked again and again in different ways, like I mentioned before, going back full circle, because we hold strong, loose, and light. And so we have to work through those complex traumas so that we can come together. We have to work through it, heal it, do the inner work, the child work, the shadow work, all the works. And I'm not talking about, I keep saying we, because you notice I don't use a lot of I talk. This is we. And I'm not looking down on nobody, because I'm very candid. If you go back to my page, my own YouTube, I have to tell my story. I don't care if it makes me look a certain type of way. Whoever wants to judge me, go ahead. This is going back to the real Christ and the sacrificial lamb and the carrying the cross, not the biblical Christian thing that I'm talking about. Chosen ones, we've been through a lot and we're tired. We have had to carry certain proverbial, metaphysical, if you will, crosses. And one of them is pushing our own surface level carnal wants and needs to the side for a higher, greatest purpose. We have to hold a certain level of light individually for the collective. So we've been the ones holding that light, holding that space to keep us anchored and grounded, so that we weren't completely overthrown and taken over by the Conjure. And in doing that, we have to sacrifice a lot. And again, I'm not judging. My story is on my Instagram. I talk about how I was born and raised in Baltimore. I talk about how I grew up around, drug addiction, the 90s crack epidemic. I talk about my own family history of different traumas. I talk about my own challenging journey into initiation. I talked about how I was married to a Nigerian Babalawo. I share all my clients know everything about my story, because it's not about who cares to take what I share and judge me. It's about those who's going to take what I share and be able to find strength from it. Those who take what I share and be able to be inspired by it. Those who hear what I share who's going to be activated by it. Those who take what I share that's going to see the God in me and therefore be able to mirror back at them and see the God in themselves. So we have to take the I out of it and begin to make it more about we, individually for the collective. That's what we have to get back into as far as a Christ consciousness, and for the systems, the primordial mother, to come back online. So if you have a community, it's about ego, it's about I'm the leader up in here, you have to bow down to me, I'm going to bird feed you, you must do it this way. We don't get to say how it must be done. We go within. We are the channelers. We are the gateways. We are the portals. We are the bridge as leaders, as chosen ones. We channel and we listen, because there's so many things going on in place simultaneously that we can't see in this physical form. We're not supposed to. Probably too much for us. So we hold the space, we channel, we listen, and we do as we are being guided to do by the divine higher self, our Ipori, the most high organic source of creation. So that's what we have to get back to. Not I'm the king, I'm this, I have this title, I have this status, bow down to me, do this, must do it this way. We have to be flexible. We have to be like the way of water. We have to be able to shape. We have to be able to move. We have to be flowy. We have to be able to evolve and adapt as times are changing. And that requires a certain amount of taking a bite out of humble pie. One thing I didn't share that I wanted to speak on is, in us coming together, we have to stop the whole battle that's taking place with the Pan-African community, the conscious community, the Orisha community, and these different communities.
That's another episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole. That's where my little rant was about to take me. That's where that energy. I'm glad that I was able to kind of get off of that wave. But that's where I was surfing. Ashe, fuck you. I said USA. I said I was surfing down those waves. But that's where I wanted to go, because that's the part. I ain't gonna lie. It triggered something within me, because it's like, you spoke about it eloquently and you broke it down in a very, very, I feel like a very elementary way, but a very powerful way, as to being a child of the planet, right? And I've had to kind of step in and be referee or mediator between the people who are Turtle Island, America, whatever you want to call it, versus Africa. And it's like, nah, that's not what this is about. And I'm never going to be, you're never going to instigate me into that fight. Period. I don't care who you are and what you represent, whichever side of the water. I'm not being dragged into that fight, and neither is this channel, because that's not what this is about. If that's the case, then there's a beef between Ifa and Kemet. That's not what this is about. I'm bringing about the bridge of the unification. So if you're trying to come in here with that division and all that other bullshit, you can miss me with that. And I'm not backing down from any debate with anybody about it, because united we stand, divided we fall. You either with us or you're not. And if you're not, that's cool. Stay where you at. I'm going to stay where I'm at. But don't come over here trying to make some sort of division, trying to make us be in conflict within. I'm not doing that. And I don't care who it is or what it's about when it comes to that. I'm not doing that. And I feel like you broke it down so eloquently. And this is something that I don't speak on often, because this ain't about me. But I have received the rights of being a chief. I don't even put that in my name. I don't judge those who do, but I let my work speak for me. I don't need to tell you the score. Look at my work. That's my scoreboard.
Remember, I said it and I didn't know that you had, and I said, you're a chief. I can tell by your disposition and your position on the platform. And you say, well, I am, but I don't even tell anybody. But I already knew intuitively. I knew because of the energy you walk with, and you just said it. Yeah, it's not about the titles, you know. So yeah,
it's
and
about the
we
work.
all come from the same primordial mother.
Sure.
We are all cousins of different lands. We are all, when we look at the broader picture, fighting the same fight when we break it down to the bare basics, bare minimum. And so we have to come out of all of these technicalities, if you will, and perceived differences, because it's just, again, a part of the smoke and mirrors, chaos energy used in reverse, that has been keeping us in bondage and separated. So yeah, that's not going to do us any good. What I was going to say about it is the reason why that some people get offended when you say certain things and want to debate and challenge. So Sophionic energy and wisdom and knowledge is an inner knowing. It's not something you can read in a book. I don't care how many Black scholars you reference. Yes, I provide those references because like I said, I understand the indoctrination that's taking place and some people need that. But it's an inner knowing. And the way, when I work with people, I want to teach them how to connect to the power within. That has been my theme for years. Rise into your power. I've even had clients who get angry with me. You're supposed to be teaching me more than this. You're supposed to be sending me this and sending me that. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm not. If that's what you want, you at the wrong place. Because what I'm going to do is give you the tools to go within. Because once you go within, you access your own Akashic records and you access your power within. I don't want to be another one of you got to go through Jesus to get to the light. I don't want to be your intermediary. You have the ability to connect straight to source. And I'm not going to stand in the way of that. I'm going to teach you how to. And so I've even had people get offended by that, because once you go within and you can see it within your mind's eye yourself, can nobody tell you different. It's not something a book can always give to you. It's something you have to experience and something you have to see yourself. And you can only do that by meditating. You can only do that by beginning to commune with your Orisha yourself directly, learning to understand the language of your spirits that are within you, your power that is within you and around you, learning to understand the voice of nature, the sound of nature, how mother speaks to you, how your ancestors speak to you. I can't do that for a person. So saying all of that to say, when we cut out all the technicalities and data in scholarly references, a lot of the scholarly reference, because they look like us, because they're brown people or so-called Black people, Dr. such and such, this scholar, anthropologist discovered this and said that, and people take it and run with it. Akashic records, inner knowing, inner seeing, third eye, Ifa, Orumila, trumps all of that. Tahuti trumps all of that when you can see it. A lot of the truth is why people get offended is because when they have done work, I shared this the other day with my sister. I said, when people have done work to a certain level, right? They reach a certain level and they feel like they've gotten it. I got everything I need. Yeah, red. I know about this book. I know about the destruction of a Black civilization. I know about that book. I know about this leader. I've read this book, 1,000 books. They can wear the red, green, and black and pump their fists. Say it loud, I'm Black, I'm proud. And then Malcolm X and the Martin Luther's and the Harriet Tubman, and I got it. The truth is, when we're going deeper, we're triggering them because we're touching on a certain type of information that they haven't gone deep enough to tap into yet. And so they take refuge and comfort in the level of knowledge that they have reached, because to go deeper is to have to invest more time or more energy and to challenge everything they believe to know up until the very point in which they studied. So we are challenging the knowing that they have come to take refuge in, that fed them enough, or so they thought. But true ascension is the ability to challenge what you think you know, challenge yourself. I didn't come to know certain things until I had to challenge myself on what I thought I knew. If you can't challenge yourself on what you thought you knew, then you are limiting yourself to stop at a certain level of knowledge based on what you have thought, that you have decided to take refuge and comfort in knowing. So once they have this, yeah, I got it. I got the power. I'm a leader. I got what I need to know. I'm knowledgeable. I'm the man. That's the ego. That's the ego. The heart, Siphoning energy, the mitochondria, the Akashic records, the all-knowing, all-seeing know that we can, knowledge and learning is a lifelong journey. Before we can come a master, we may have to come back. We can never maybe know everything, multiple lifetimes. But some people don't want to go as that deep because it means you got to see certain shadows. You got to face certain generational patterns. You got to dig into a certain level of hurt and pain. You got to unravel what your mama then told you, what you thought, what the preacher man then told you, what your professor then told you, your heroes that you thought was a hero was really on the plan for the other side of the team, just because they look brown and look like us. We thought they was us, like Rod Hayes always say. Now they got to question their whole worldview and reality, and that's scary. So they get offended when somebody says something that goes against what their ego have told them. I got it all. I know it all. This ain't it. How do you know? How much unbiased research have you done? How much have you challenged what you believe you know? That's the only way you can reach certain levels of ascension. And what we're talking about, Christ consciousness, moving into the 3D, 4D, 5D, is pushing beyond that fear, is being able to have the rug ripped from under your feet of what you think you know. All I knew was my Christian family Pentecostal church. My grandmother was a pastor. That's all. I didn't know nothing about no. I didn't come from no spiritual. I come from Baltimore, Cherry Hill, Westport, inner city, South Baltimore. Okay. I didn't know about none of that, but there was something inside of me. I don't care what family members stop talking to me. I don't care if I don't fit in. I don't care where I have to move to as I'm even doing things to reshape and leaving certain things behind. I don't care. I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and challenge, even if it means making me uncomfortable. That's what the chosen ones have done. That's what we do. That's what we do. We face the unthinkable. I've literally seen and faced certain demons that will, if a person haven't done the work to reach a certain level, they could probably lose their freaking mind from the things that I have seen. But I had to see it in order to move past it. I had to go through it. And so when we talk on certain topics, we don't even always have to agree. The person who get offended is truly because they are being triggered by something within them that knows there is more.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh my God, I love that. Because I can't remember where I read this or heard it or was taught, but it had to be. Matter of fact, I want to say it was like an Odu or Ifa Odu. I don't know, but either way, it doesn't matter. But what I found and what I learned in a lesson, a life lesson, is that a lot of times, like when people hate you or don't like you or hate on you, it's because you're a mirror image of what it is about them that they know that there might be the potential for them to be or to achieve or to accomplish, but they haven't done the work to get to that level within themselves. So because you have, they're looking at you and they're like, F them people because they made it, right? But my thing is, there's no difference between your child of guidance and my child of guidance. So what are you doing with the 24 hours that you have within your day? Because I know what I'm doing mine. And I'm not perfect, and I got a whole lot to work on, but I know what I am being intentional with working on, and that's serving the people that I was born and sent here to serve. So therefore, if you are mad at me because I'm doing what I came here to do, look in the mirror, figure out what it is about you that you're more than capable of doing, but you ain't putting the work to do. But you going to hit on and talk down on the people who are.
Inner peace doesn't judge.
Right.
Inner peace is contentment and stillness and allowing oneself to just be. That's when we have reached what I believe East Asian, is it? The pranas and all of the people who practice prana and Buddhism and all of those things. When we've reached nirvana, when we have reached a certain level of ascension, we don't need to, but there's no sense to prove. There's no sense to debate. There's no need to argue. There's no need to judge. Again, when we move and operating from our heart chakra, we are operating out of love. And where there's no war, there's no need to fight. Where is the war? We have to ask ourselves, if we're debating and we're fighting, where's the war? Is the war within you or is it within me? If there is no war, where is it? What are you debating and fighting for? Inner peace doesn't need to prove. We don't need to prove what we have settled into knowing. And at times we can also agree to disagree. And even now, there's people there are sages who I will sit at the feet of and listen to. Even now, if someone says something, it may just be beyond my ears of what I can receive at the given time. So instead of debating what a balanced individual operating from Christ consciousness or their heart chakra, who have done a certain level of work, what they're going to do is say, the childlike spirit is the way to manifestation and creation and exploration. The child is always willing to learn and to explore and imagine. So anyone who has blocked off that connection is telling you that they are limited, they have restricted themselves, and somewhere there has been a block instilled in them. I use that, somewhere there has been a block instilled in them, because our inherent nature is childlike, exploration and imagination. That's how we're able to tap into certain magic and understandings and knowing. But when a person has cut off their ability to maintain that explorative mind and openness, that's telling you something has happened within them, that individual, and they should explore it. Instead, what we can do is, if something doesn't resonate with us or we don't fully agree with it or understand it, why debate it? That's not going to do. We shouldn't be doing anything at this stage of Christ consciousness that's not going to move us forward. Getting caught in rhetoric and debate, what is that going to do for us? Now it's time to take action. We should already know certain things at this point in time. The information has already been out there, readily available. Brothers like you, brothers like the brothers I named for years have been spitting the knowledge and the facts. We pass all of that rhetoric. Is keeping us, see, somebody like that, they're not working in favor of the collective. That's the thing that's have been keeping us stuck. So what we can do instead is say, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to reflect on that. I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to meditate on that. It doesn't really ring a bell or resonate with me right now, but I'm going to sit on that. And a lot of times when I've done that, sometimes even years later, I've come across some elders and sages that was dropping knowledge to me that I couldn't understand at the time because I hadn't reached a certain level of healing. But when I think back on it, and I left that door open and I didn't allow my ego to shut it down, I then made sense later on, like, oh, now I get what he or she was saying. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree temporarily, but debating and challenging is something that's anything that's upsetting you or triggering you is within you. It's a you problem.
Facts. That's facts. No, I love it. Listen, and I love it. Like that. That's powerful. Okay, so I got like 2 quick questions. That's it. I'm gonna leave it at
Yeah,
2,
'cause
and then
I hear my children.
yep, yeah, because I already know we went way longer than we probably was supposed to. So, one, because this one came earlier, and shout out to the Unique Tribe because she's a very heavy contributor and attendee to these Ashe Streets. So she was wondering what zodiac sign you was. She said her soul is so super soothing, but feel like the realness and authenticity. I appreciate the woman at the age of spreading knowledge and genuinely no shade, no competition. I love that.
Oh, thank you, sister. I always say the divine in me, the God in me, recognize the God in you, and vice versa. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for seeing me. A lot of times, people like me don't get seen for a lot of surface level reasons. So, thank you for seeing my heart and my true nature. I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. I literally went through hell, and high water to get to the point and place of where I am now. I'm very, again, candid about my story. Thank you for seeing me. My zodiac sign is I have Gemini rising. I think it's Gemini rising, Gemini sun, and a Libra moon. But when you get deeper into my charts, gets interesting. But those are my main zodiac signs. A lot of air. So with Gemini energy, it's Mercury, it's Eshu, choice and making wise choices and decisions. With Gemini energy and air, our Gemini mantra is I think. So we are born through certain zodiac signs, which really tells us what did you call celestial body we were close to when we were born, or that our what zodiac we were close to when we were born, what our celestial, wherever we come from. So some people say they come from Sirius. Some people say they're Palladian, Sirius B, whatever. If, say, for example, a person come from Sirius B and then it was in Gemini sign, that means that Gemini was close at the time and the celestial body probably jumped and moved to Gemini. That's just something I found as a part of my truth through research and study. So Gemini mantra is I think. So I was born to come here and think. But with every sign we challenge, because I have to challenge myself to not overthink. So with everything, again, we have the balance and unbalanced. We have the balanced Lilith energy. We have the unbalanced Lilith energy. You have the sweet Oshun, then we have the Oshun who's going to tear shit up. We have the Gemini who's deep thinker, who challenges and goes against the norm. The Gemini who's going to figure some shit out, who thinks out of the box, who is captivating. And then you have the Gemini who the twin takes over too much and who's the overthinker. And yeah, so I had to learn to balance it. So that's the work that I've done through the years. And those are my zodiac signs. And I'm very old. I'm old. I told in earlier before I wasn't even supposed to be back here because my job was well done. My mission was complete in a spiritual realm, and I had to come back. So I have a lot of ancestral energy too, and light and love. I've been through. So if you knew what I've been through, you'll be looking at me, girl, how are you sitting up there talking about some love and still open to love? But that's the energy that I was born with and born to embody. And no matter what, like I said, they can't change it. They're not going to put me into Tafiti mode. And my heart going to stay in place regardless. Sometimes they'll send agents. Sometimes they'll send Mr. Smiths. Sometimes it's family members. Sometimes it's your mate that'll try to break you and just make your heart close up. So you do the work and stay in your center.
Yeah. I got one more quick one. Shout out to Chloe Dior. I had starred your message, and her question was, can you speak on women initiating into Ifa and Odu? We're having a private community call on Saturday, Chloe. I sent the link in the comments to the Patreon community. We do have a free tier, so you're more than welcome to join that one. And I'll definitely be sharing the link to everybody on all tiers of the Patreon community for us to get further into that, amongst a few other things that I wanted to chop it up with y'all about. So for that question, If you want to join us on Saturday, I'd definitely be more than happy to get into that one with you. And then one more, it's the last one because I said two. So fair use asked the question. This was way earlier in the show, but I believe this question was in regards to what is the remedy to reversing the conjure. That's what I believe Miss Fair Use was talking about.
So if it's what's the remedy to reversing a conjure, I really went deep in depth into that. But just to recap, you might have missed it because I know some people came in late. Thank you for having the inquisitive mind and asking fair_use. A short version and one sentence, reversing the conjure means the remedy is understanding it, doing a research of what it is so that you can see the ways that you may be feeding into the conjure and caught in the conjure and may be unaware of it. So first do the research and understand what it is and how it is, and then do the opposite of it. And the opposite of it, in essence, is embracing the organic, indigenous, original way in which we were created, the organic, original way in which all life was birthed, and the original organic way in which all life existed. Plant life, as far as how our foods, our fruit, our life structure, our connection to nature, and that is through understanding Sophionic energy and the primordial mother, and supporting the matriarchal return to the throne. So that's the synopsis. But if you have time, you can go back and watch the full live where I really break it down in detail.
Isaac 9 said, but isn't the Zodiac another trap? That's a whole nother show, bro. Like that's a whole nother, matter of fact, that might even be a series because there's so much that goes into that. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't skip past that comment because that is a major one. I think a lot of people might not necessarily know where you're going with that, brother, but I think it's brother, but I definitely do.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
but
so that's what I'm saying. That's a whole nother show.
You can't just take the Zodiac by itself.
Right.
So I encourage people to understand the primordial energy that you're born to radiate and embody, which is also known as the Orisha, which also known as the Netaru, I believe, which also known as the Abosum, which also known as the Loa, which all, it goes on and on. Understand the spirit energy that you're meant to embody. Do your pull up your numerological chart, understand your numbers, what life path you were birthed through. So understand, not just to look at your astrology, yes, and astronomy, numerology, and the primordial energy. And I talk about that in a previous live. If you go check out the other live I did, I get into what the Orisha are and how we materialize as matter in a physical form as embodiments of the Orisha. So when you look at all of those things, you're able to really see the connection of how and if your zodiac sign is true to you. Again, no matter what Gregorian calendar, no matter what they put in place, no matter how they flip right side up and upside down, north, south, and south, however they flip it around, it don't matter. Again, our coding is created under the right circumstances and as it is in the cosmic order and our physical body and in nature to give us what we need and to correct itself. So go within is the short version, and you'll know what your zodiac means for you.
Shout out to the Unique Tribe. I just sent you I just put my email in the chat in regards to the question that you had with the divination. But with that, I appreciate it. Oye Chief Ifaremi. Man, with that, I'm good. Like I don't have no more questions. Those two. I appreciate you answering them because I know we went way longer than we probably was supposed to. But with that, shout out to the tribe. Shout out to the tribe, man.
Get comfortable. Even today, I say, you know what? I'm not going to do much today. I'm just going to relax and make sure I get my sleep in because I need to be able to channel these messages. And I already know it might be like 2-3 hours. And I already done bribed my churn. Like, come on, churn, y'all be quiet, churn. So I can get this out on behalf of the Most High. So I'm thankful for everybody who's present. If you were present on the live, there's no coincidence. You're here for a reason. You received this message for a reason. If anything I said touched you, resonated with your spirit, or even if it didn't, challenge yourself to challenge me. But if it did, the best way that you can thank me is by sharing this video. Check with Orisha Baby if you can, break it up, share clips, share the message. Another way that you can thank me and yourself and the primordial mother, the great mother, is by implementing, taking action, and doing some of the things that I said in the video. Letting your children see you do it so they can carry on the new way. So those are ways that you can show your appreciation for me. I don't really ask for, I see brother Orisha Baby posted my
Cash App. I sure did,
I
because
forgot to
listen,
put it
donations
last
go.
time on the last live, but Spirit was like, I don't really do it for that. You don't have to do anything. Those are really the best way. Monetary helps, yes, because it is time and it's energy, and we still in this physical reality where we got responsibilities. But even if you send something, which I greatly appreciate, which usually is going to go to my mission, because that's what I'm here for. Everything I do is about my mission. Do the other things that I mentioned. Share the video, share the channel, share the message, and take action. Thank you, Harmonious Balance. Right back at you. You're with your name. I would think. I don't know if you're a sister or not, but I'm just going to say right back at you, love.
That's a sister, and she's a blessed sister too, because she was on a live stream last week and won both of the prizes. Man, we gave away Professor Kaba. I bought a few copies, several copies actually, of his documentary that I wanted to raffle off to the tribe, just to give away on me. And she messed around and won the doggone his prize that he was auctioning off, or that I was auctioning off via him through the raffle, and then I was auctioning off 2 free copies of my book Star Seeds, and she won that too. I'm like, boy, look, she got that sauce, boy. She got that Oracle, the Oracle and the Matrix got doggone intuition, man, with guessing the numbers, man. For real. So yeah, I definitely know that's a sister. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Obi 1111. I love you too, brother or sister. I can't tell, and please don't take it personal. I'm just because it's hard for me to like look at the pictures and all that, and keep up with the comments. But I definitely love you too, family, for sure. And yeah, it's nothing but love, and shout out to the whole tribe, man. So I appreciate all of y'all, and thanks to you, Chief Ifaremi, Olosun.
You're welcome. All thanks to the Most High, all thanks to the primordial mother, to my Ori, to my Risha, to my ancestors, Iba, to all the benevolent celestial energies who shield me, protect me, inspire me, give me transmissions, fortify me. Thank you, Iba. I pay homage to the spirit energies that keep me. Celestial benevolent spirit energies who empower me and who keep me.
I shall. And with that, tribe, look, I'm not going no further. But I give thanks, and shout out to everybody. Like I said, always, and forever. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to the new listeners. Shout out to the new Patreon family. Shout out to the YouTube channel family and community. And shout out to the watchers, the shadow watchers who are not subscribed, because I give thanks to all 18,000 plus who are subscribed. I do. I truly do appreciate
Subscribe,
every
y'all.
single
Y'all
one
gotta
of you.
subscribe. Stop what you're doing right now and
Yeah.
subscribe. Hit the like
Yeah.
button. Hit the
Yeah,
share.
because it's like 80% of the people that's not subscribed. It's well over 100,000 that be watching. But yeah, it's cool. I appreciate y'all too. But just hit the button. Boop. It don't hurt. It don't cost nothing. Just hit the button. But either way it go, I still appreciate y'all too.
That's right.
Yep. So with that, I give thanks, man. And so yeah, I look forward to doing it again. Chief, and gratitude, gratitude and honor to the mothers, to the feminine energy and all that you brought to us, man. I give thanks from the bottom of my heart, to you and everybody else who was involved with this episode, man. Nothing but love and appreciation, family. And Tribe, I appreciate all y'all. We'll be back soon. I'm not exactly sure what day yet, but I'll be posting it in the comments or in the channel, when we do have the next show locked in as far as the live stream. And the Patreon community, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Saturday because tomorrow is probably too short a notice. So Saturday, I'm thinking maybe 7, 8, we'll do the private community call on Patreon as well. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, family. Do you have anything you want to leave with the tribe on the way out? Yeah.
Just peace, love, elevation, ascension, Christ consciousness, return of the throne, primordial mother, Sophionic energy, elevation, community, collectiveness, togetherness, sustainability, no more codependency. Together we rise. And like Brother Orisha Bami says, if we ain't together and rising together, we might stand a chance of falling. My love, sharing love and light and wisdom to all. Infinite blessings to everybody, willing and speaking all E-Ray, elevation, ascension, shielding protection over this channel, shielding protection over me and Orisha Bami and the work that we are doing, protection over us, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and all of the chosen ones who still walk the planet. Ashe.
Ashe. Oh, and with that, I'm gonna say one last thing, and I'm out of here too. But I'm about to send my cash app and gratitude and thanks for her time and wisdom and understanding, understanding that she dropped in these streets. And and I can't make nobody do anything, but I encourage, if you do appreciate the channel and you appreciate, the Ashe that the guests bring, man, if you have it, if you don't have it, still send some sort of gratitude to her channel. Subscribe to her YouTube, subscribe to her link tree because I shared those links as well. So even just showing, love by just sending a message of gratitude, that means a lot. So with that, family, I'll definitely be sending my gratitude and appreciation to her. And I give my gratitude to y'all as thanks and appreciation. And so with that, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all in the next episode, fam. We out. Peace. Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your